Hello, welcome. We're back. Been a little while, been about a week. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. And I am here, no hopeful. This week he's out doing his mountain man thing, chopping wood, IRL. He's gathering and refining IRL. So it's just gonna be me for the day, but hopefully that's acceptable. Um, I think that most of hey, what's up? Good to see you here. I think most of what I've seen in the Discord over the course of the week, and it's actually been good because it's given me an idea of what I need to talk about, is basically that people are not really sure how to join the guild. And I think I've gone over this now probably 3 times already, but it's cool. It's easy to go over again. So, yeah, as people float in, hopefully they'll let me know that they're here and I can go over that so that everyone can see what needs to happen in order for that to work. The only problem is that I'm not really sure where the button is on mobile, but we can hopefully work around that. So I want to go over also one other thing, which is that a couple of weeks ago, or a little over a week ago, I managed to hit premium with silver. So I didn't spend any money. I bought premium with silver, and now it's been, well, 4 of my days because I got 5 extra days for free, right? But so it's been like 9 days since I got premium, and I've already made enough silver to get premium a second time. So that's something to bear in mind. So we're gonna go over kind of how that works and how to do that yourself. Um, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna actually pop into this Discord channel so that I can say hi to Sam. Hello.
Oh, hello.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good, good. Been sleeping?
Yeah, I got just took a nap and
Oh, wonderful. Always good to hear that you're taking care of yourself. So just it's funny. I think that since I made premium on Albion, I've played a lot less
hmm,
of the game. I've been playing maybe a couple hours a day tops, and
hmm.
I've made enough silver in 9 days to make premium.
And only
So
a couple hours a day. That's really
yeah,
good,
just a
actually.
couple of hours, and it's funny. It took a long time. So those cedar planks that we refined, they finally
Mm-hmm.
sold,
Okay.
and that was just a couple or 3 million straight up.
Yeah.
Bunch of other stuff that I had sitting in the markets in various places. Just like most of the
I think I
money.
still have a bunch of wood from that too, like
Yeah,
9,000
today would
logs.
be a
Yeah.
great day to sell it in Thetford, I believe, because the price was at 688 a plank. Um,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
really high because Fire Stav's crafting day. So what I've come
Okay.
to understand is that, you know, most of the so let me just take a look. Okay, so items sold. Okay, so I sold a couple of blazing staffs that I made today, and I sold a bunch of cedar planks and made 686,000. So I refined these. So I spent about 1 million to
Mm-hmm.
make about 1.7 million back. So about 700,000 or 800,000 in profit. From
Nice.
I think it took me half an hour to do the round trip to Fort Sterling and back to bring logs there and then refine them and bring them back. So
Nice.
what I've found is that the vast majority of the income that I've gotten with premium that has gotten me back to now 14 million silver from about 100,000 silver
Mm-hmm.
has been stuff that I had on sell order before I even made premium. So honestly,
Right.
that's the best way to do it is to load up your sell orders um, so that when the market is appropriate,
Changes.
you'll just
Right.
have a big chunk of money will come in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
right now, you know anyone who's watching the stream can see this. I have what, one, two, three, four. Yeah, I have 40,000 copper bars sitting in my bank at Thetford because I was able to get them pretty cheap. Now, I got them at, I think, 13 silver a piece, which is not that cheap, to be honest. But now I have those sitting in my bank. Um, in Brazilian, sometimes they'll sell for about 45 a piece. There isn't much volume there, but I have about 10,000 sitting on the market there for when and if that ever works out. And then generally, I'll just keep my eye on Limhurst or Martlock to see, you know, does the price ever get high enough to justify me taking stuff there? Um, now I just want to grab what? A few of these things. Yeah, I'll just grab all of that. Got a bunch of goat kids here. Don't need any of those. I'll grab this as well. So I can show you guys kind of the system that I'm working toward with the personal island. Because a lot of you, you'll work on this for a couple or 3 weeks to try to get yourself premium, and then your question, like my first question was, I have premium, now what? Like, what's the first thing that I should aim to do? And so I think the answer for a lot of you guys is, if you can make sure that you have some silver left over when you do make premium the first time, um, you're probably going to want to set up your own island. And it's going to be a bit tough at first because, you're going to be looking at, at this island, and you're not going to be able to keep up with a lot of the things that you're going to want to do, right? So the way I have mine set up is specifically a setup for Thetford, right? And Thetford is like its main thing is refining metal, right? So you refine ore into metal bars in Thetford. It has a refining bonus for that. In Fort Sterling, it's wood, right? But we have a guild island in Fort Sterling, so you actually don't need to worry about creating a system that allows you to feed your your logging station because we have one on the guild island, right? So if you are in Fort Sterling and you make your island there, the most important things to farm are honestly carrots because you're going to be doing you're going to be and whatever else you might want to farm to sell just to make extra income, right? But carrots are going to enable you to make carrot soup, um which we can probably set up a chef on the guild island pretty easily so that you can just, run stuff over to make some carrot soup, right? And you can feed carrot soups to the logging guy, and you can use that otherwise for free, right? And you'll get a bunch of free return on all of your resources that you use to refine there. Now, one of the things worth noting about an island is that any farming that you do, in order for it to be effective and efficient and like make you profit, you have to use focus. Now, focus is something that you'll see right here. So you see max focus is here, focus regeneration, 10,000 a day, maximum is 30,000. My current focus is right here, 5,578, right? And this goes up slowly over the course of the day. Now, something that you ought to know about focus is that when you start, basically using focus is for crafting and farming. If I go here to this guy, or actually, let's go over to the cook. Right, this is good because I can actually cook some stuff. Let's say if I was going to make cabbage soup. Okay, so cabbage soup cost 144 cabbage to make one well, 10 cabbage soups. And I have this recipe is important because that's what the butcher eats is cabbage soup. Cabbage soup. Um, if I hit focus, I'll spend 4,300 of my 5,500 focus. I'll spend most of my focus in order to get a 37.1% return rate on the resources. If I don't, I get no resources back. So basically, this is going to give me about 50 cabbage back, which cuts down the resource cost of the cabbage. The only problem is that it's spending my focus, which I need for other things. So the thing is that, as you can see here in the Destiny board, which you'll become quite familiar with as you play. Here we have farming, here we have animal breeding, and over here we have herbs, and here we have chef, right? So I have 36 levels in chef, and what that gives me on the whole is 1,080 bonus to focus cost efficiency. So if I was a level 0 chef, which I couldn't be in order to be able to make cabbage soup, but in theory if I was, that would cost me like probably on the order of yeah, five or 5,500 focus to make that 10 cabbage soup. And if I were to get myself up to level 100, it's going to cost me a considerable lot less. The other thing to bear in mind is the specializations, right? So this is a stew and this is a soup. So I have another 1,000 or so specialization bonus to focus cost efficiency when making soups. And then that goes for salads here, pies, roasts, omelets, so on, right? So what these skills do in cooking or in over here, we have over in farming, right? Is these reduce the amount of focus that you use in order to farm. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Always nice to see. Oh, I should probably move this over so I can see the chat a little bit better. Yes, good day, good day. Yeah, we got a bunch of STL folks. Great to see you guys here. So, any of you guys who are getting started with Albion, with us, oh, I got a bunch of sell orders expiring because I guess it's been 30 days since I started playing the game. But yeah, one of the things that you will, well, thank you, that you'll want to do is to when you get your first premium, you'll want to get this island together and you'll want to start grinding up these skills so that you can farm more efficiently. So on base cost, when you plant something, so I can plant carrots, right? So I have carrot seeds. Okay, I don't have carrot seeds, but I have cabbage seeds. I can plant one of these cabbages, and it will grow into one of these cabbages that I can now harvest, right? And when I harvest this, I'll get some fame that will go into my cabbage farming skill, right? And the issue isn't with planting and harvesting. The issue is with cost efficiency because on as a general rule, cabbage seeds cost about a little over 8,000 silver each. So each one of these required a cabbage seed, and each of these was 8,000 silver. Now, that's about 70,000 silver, right? Just to plant this patch. Okay? And the thing is that each of these cabbage seeds has an 80% chance to give me a seed back. So most of the time, if I plant 9 of these in a patch, I'm going to get about 7 seeds back. But if I water the plant, it will be 120% seed yield, which means that most of the time when I plant 9 of these plants, I'll actually end up getting about 10 or 11 seeds back, which is really nice, right? Because you can then sell these seeds for a whole bunch of money on the market. That's just pure profit, right? But the problem is that watering each one of these costs as on base, it cost 1,000 focus. And as I showed you guys, I have 5,000 right now. There's a maximum of 30,000, and you get 10,000 per day. So how are you supposed to deal with that? Right? over time, when you first get your island, you'll only have one of these farming patches. And so your first thing is you're going to be able to farm carrots. So see here, like, got 4 carrots. I didn't water this particular carrot, so I get a bunch of carrots, or I get 8 carrots, but I don't get any seeds. But I do get some fame for picking them. This one, I didn't water this one. 8 carrots, no seeds. Very sad. 12 carrots for this one. That's pretty good. But again, no seeds. Over here, oh, I did water this one. Gives me 2 seeds back. So this is a nice thing with carrots. Carrots, when you plant them, do not have a base seed yield. In order to get seeds back, you have to water them. But when you do water them, you're guaranteed to get 2 seeds back. So when you buy carrot seeds for the first time, you can realistically only buy 1 carrot seed for like 4,000 silver. And the first day, when you water that for 1,000 focus, you'll get 2 seeds the next day. So you'll plant those 2, and then you'll get 4 out of that, and then you'll get 8 out of that, and now you have a full carrot patch, right? And you only paid 4,000 or so silver to do that. And over the course of a few days, now you have a full carrot patch, right? And every single time you farm it or you harvest from it, you're going to get, you plant 9 and you get 18. So you sell 9 or you plant a second patch or whatever. But the issue is, well, 9,000 focus per day, you can't have a second patch because 18,000 focus per day is more than you regenerate. So eventually you'll run out of focus and you won't be able to water all of your plants. But because as you gain the farmer skills, the focus cost efficiency, it will cost you less and less every time. So what you need to do is, I need to get my ox back up because I can't walk without it nearby. What you need to do is you need to do some careful like triage, okay, and determine, well, what do I need at any given moment. Now I've definitely gotten myself in over my head in terms of what I can keep up with in terms of focus cost efficiency, so I end up frequently having to go and say, okay, well, I can only water half of the carrot patch and I can only water, half of the cabbage patch to ensure that, mathematically speaking, my chances are as high as possible to ensure that I don't lose any seeds, right? So I only watered these 3 and I actually got screwed. Um, but all of these other ones so far, I've gotten seeds from. I'm pretty lucky. Okay, good.
Yo,
And
can
the
you
math
guys
works
hear
out.
me?
I can.
Yeah,
Holy shit,
hello,
a wild
welcome.
hopeful.
Oh
Are
wow,
you
Showed
out
up out of
hopeful.
nowhere.
are you out crafting and gathering in the real world?
I am. I'm in the wilderness. There's bushcraft. There's fucking woodcraft. There's all kinds of craft.
Wonderful. I've been
Right
doing
now, there's
some wood
deer craft
refining
and wood
myself,
craft.
but not in the
Sweet.
not in the real sense. Look at
Well,
that.
that's okay. As long as you're making silver, internet money's important too.
Yep, here we are at 14.5 million silver, just like that.
Oh, dude,
Um,
you almost got fucking freemium again,
oh
homie.
yeah, yeah, dude. It's just rolling in like it's so easy with premium. Holy shit. The hard work that I put in while I didn't have premium really paid off though, to be sure. So now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna harvest all of this stuff from the animals. So funny thing with farm animals, right? So let me just go over here with this guy and show you guys what's possible. So here you have plants, right? You can get carrot seeds and turnip seeds and wheat seeds and bean seeds and cabbage and potatoes and corn and pumpkins and all of this. And then below that, you've got all of these other plants that you can plant in an herb garden. Okay. And these things are great if you are going to do potion crafting. Potion crafting is also apparently quite profitable. But if you're going to do food, which is probably the most profitable, you're going to want to stick to these top few here. But then down here, this is what I want to look at, is the animals. There's a whole bunch of animals that you can buy from this farming merchant, or you can go and you can look at them on the open market, which is almost certainly cheaper, so do that. But just for ease, I'm going to show you guys. You can buy baby chickens, you can buy baby goats, um, geese, sheep, pigs, cows, and then you can get ox and foals. So you can get stuff for making transport mounts or horse mounts, riding horse or armored horse mounts. Or you can get these farm animals, these production animals, which you use for cooking. Now, I'm gonna mostly concern myself with these, but hopeful is raising oxen to get eventually into the market of raising and selling tier 6 and 8 ox calves
Oh,
or
not just
or
oxen.
ox
Remember,
mounts.
we had the plan of
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we're getting into
exotic
those
animals
rare
as
mounts
well.
eventually.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
at the
yeah. Oh yeah.
moment, he's mostly using his pasture to raise these oxen, right? But what I'm spending my time raising is goats and geese. And there's a reason I chose those particular animals. But here's the thing, if I have a goat kid and I put down a goat kid, over the course of 24 hours, at least while I have premium, hi Trina, good to see you. Um, what's going to happen is that goat kid is going to grow up into an adult goat. And I'm going to get, generally speaking, assuming I've done the feeding and the nurturing thing, which when it comes to livestock, always spend the focus on the livestock before you spend it on the plants. The livestock, like, they're big money, man. So when I raise a goat kid into an adult goat, I'm going to get three things generally. I'm going to get 2 goat kids back, and I'm going to get 1 adult goat. Now, those goat kids go straight to my inventory after the goat grows up, and then I can either raise those 2 or I can sell them on the market, which generally advisable because you're only going to have so much capacity. But now I have an adult goat, and all I have to do is feed that goat 10 carrots or something, and the next day I'm going to have like 20 goat's milk. Okay? Goat's milk goes for money. Okay? I have 264 goat's milk, and that's 105k silver. Okay? Even if I just had a full pasture of goats, I'd be getting this much, like, I won't say daily, but if I had 2 pastures, I'd get this much daily, right? And I wouldn't have to spend any focus at all on them. All I would have to do is feed them carrots, which I would have to spend focus on in order to keep that up. But my point is, here I have 3 goats. I only need goat's milk for the food that I need to be able to craft. I don't need goat meat, so I don't ever have to raise any more goats. So as I collect all of this goat's milk, this is just free. Like, I don't spend any focus on this. As long as I'm making carrots, these guys are just producing goat's milk, you know? And as a general rule, let me just... So, let's see. It's approximately 20 goat's milk that I get out of each goat, and I spend 10 carrots on each one to get that 20 goat's milk. So, approximate market value, 4,286 silver for the carrots, and I convert that into 7,965 silver of goat's milk. So feeding carrots to the goats is just doubling your money in 24 hours. Okay? So even if you don't grow carrots and you just buy the carrots, you're buying carrots to double your money with the goats, right? And the same can be said of any of the other number of livestock, right? But then it gets a little more complicated because over here I have like 6 little squares of geese. Now I want to show you guys something real quick. This guy here. Now, in order for me to have this smelter be self-sufficient, I need to be able to feed him, right? And currently he has a 2% food supply. He is pretty hungry. But this is what's important, right? Wheat soup here, this is his favorite food, okay? And the reason that that's important is that I can feed this guy anything, right? I can feed him carrot soup. I can feed him goose pies. It doesn't matter. But if I feed him wheat soup, his favorite food, he gets double the nutrition. And nutrition ggets spent every time you use that station to craft, right? It's basically just a cost of doing business, but basically you have to feed the worker in order for the worker to perform the task, right? So I have this smelter on my island, and I have to feed this guy wheat soup. So in order for me to get wheat soup cheap, I figured, I'll grow wheat and I'll make my own chef station and I'll just make the wheat soup myself so I don't have to just go and buy it all the time because that shit gets expensive, right? So I had to make a chef station. And then I was like, okay, so I want to make some wheat soup to feed my guy and that requires 48 wheat and blah blah blah. Like right now I have 224 wheat and I could make a bunch of this stuff to feed to my smelter. But then I realized there's a problem with that, right? I need to feed my chef too. So what does the chef eat? Well, the chef eats goose pie. The goose pie has a much more complex ingredients list than the so could anyone have multiple alts to do this and not be in any violation of terms of service? Absolutely. All the big YouTubers who are very successful in Albion Online have like up to hundreds of focus alts or crafting alts or chef alts. Like a lot of people will say oh okay, I have my main character does all this combat stuff and they make all this silver doing PvP or whatever, but then I have a chef alt, right? So that my combat guy can spend his focus on like crafting or whatever the heck he got into early, but then I have a chef alt who spends his focus on maximizing ingredient efficiency, and then I have a farmer alt that spends all of their focus as efficiently as possible, or like 10 farmer or 100 farmer alts on raising whatever specific ingredient is necessary. That's very common for people to do if they are willing to log out log in several times. They can do that. The only issue with having alts is that you need to make sure that your operation is stable enough that you can afford premium for 10 to 100 different characters, because that's what keeps it efficient. What I would generally err toward is get one character fully established, and then once you're comfortable where that character's at, with them being stable, able to break even at least with premium and being effective and efficient at creating income, once you're like going positive, then you can determine whether or not you want to stop throwing your silver at you know upgrades of equipment or whatever it may be, and start throwing that silver at establishing an alternate character who can ultimately grow your silver generating empire, right? So what I found was that okay, I want to feed this smelter wheat soup because I have my island in Thetford where the ore refining is good. Now, if you're in Fort Sterling, you don't need to have a sawmill on your island because we have one on the Guild Island, right? And we're all kind of pitching in to try to keep that efficient and open for everybody to use if they should need it. Any recommended level or tier? Max. Max level or tier is my recommendation. It just takes time and silver to get anything to that, right? So like let me show you what I did, right? So I decided that I thought that mages are cool, so I got a fire staff earlier on, and I have 100 in pyromancer, and I have 100 in blazing staff specialization. And I have, like 1 in wildfire, 50 in great fire, 16 in regular fire staff. And basically that just means that I can do lots of damage with this staff. And it's good, right? But if you want me to run a holy staff, I'm fucking useless. I can't do that. But I'm great with this fire staff. Now, let's let's take a look over at something else, another viable path, right? Say, um, this is nature staff, right? Nature staff, which is you would use a bow as a novice, and then you would pick up a nature staff. So this is actually what Sam does, right? If you wanted to do nature staff, which is sort of like PvE DPS, but mostly when it comes to PvP, it's focused on healing, or like group play, you're focused on healing. These are actually insanely good for solo play. But I wouldn't have expected that myself, but they're really, really good for solo play. And if you get into Nature Staff, you're highly coveted. People love you if you're a healer, right? So say you go and you max this out while you're trying to build up silver for your first premium. You're going to be in a great place. But all you really have to do that is just like pick up a bow when you're in the tutorial area, and then once you can, craft yourself a nature staff or buy one on the market for like 1,000 silver, and then go from there, upgrade as needed until you've, selected which one of them you want. I think blight staff is considered to be very good, or regular nature staff, either way. Um, or maybe you're not into that. Maybe you want to do the warrior side of things. Maybe you want to go with you want to go with the big two-handed kingmaker, right? And you want to one-shot poor unfortunate firestaff users in faction warfare, which is incredibly toxic, and I hate them very much. But anyway, maybe you want to be that guy, right? You just pick up a sword when you're starting, and you kind of just go from there. Like if I wanted to just pivot and start using axes, I could do that, right? But the same kind of gameplay idea goes for anything else that you do, right? If I want to craft something, I just got to craft one like of the basic items badly. Like I have the ability to craft basic fire stabs, you know? Um Not super great, and I missed my opportunity to really capitalize on the fire staff crafting day. I'm pretty sure I did anyway. Let me just activities, arcane staff today. Yeah, feels bad, you know. Um, but like, if you want to do something, whatever it is in this game, you can. You can just start, right? Um, Yeah, actually, that was something that I noticed. Thanks for mentioning that, Sam. Is that a lot of people have said, "Hey, please add me to the guild." But funny thing is, I see all of these guild applications. Oh, there he is. Okay, yeah, accepted. Absolutely. So there's a bunch of these guild applications here. I'm not gonna decline them, but like, I have no idea who these guys are. Just can I join? Like, sure, you want to tell me who you are though? Like I'm not going to accept it unless I know that
Maybe
you're part of the Discord,
maybe
right?
if we just reply back to them and just ask them how they found us.
Right. I mean that's probably a good idea. But
Yeah.
as a general rule, if you guys start playing Albion and you go up to this kind of a button, and maybe it doesn't look the same on mobile, but if you find this kind of a button somewhere, and go to Guild Finder, search N2E Pro. This is us. If you click apply, just type in that you're from the Discord. I'm not riding my horse. No, I'm not. I'm riding an ox right now. Um, but yeah, back to the system that I created. So in Thetford, what I found that I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to feed this guy soup so that I could refine ore here efficiently. And in order to do that, I need a cook. And then I need to feed the cook. And I need to feed the cook goose pie, right? So that means on my list of crops that I need to be able to work with, it's wheat, cabbage. This is also wheat. Here on I just pointed it with my hand, and you guys can't see where my hand is pointing on the screen. Sorry. So cabbage, wheat, and this here is goose, and this is goat's milk. Okay. So I need cabbage, wheat, geese, and goats. Now let's take a look over here. So I just harvested cabbage from here. I harvested carrots over here. And that's because I'm feeding the animals carrots. I'm having a hard time keeping up with the focus costs at the moment. But you'll notice that that wheat, in order to make the pie, has to be turned into flour. So I had to make a mill. What does the lady at the mill eat? Well, she eats goose omelets, which is cabbage, goose eggs. Fantastic. That's covered with the same stuff that covers the chef. And in order for me to make the goose pies, And the goose omelets, I have to be able to butcher the geese, which requires a butcher. And she eats cabbage soup, wouldn't you know? So I have everything that I need covered under 4 different ingredient production schemes, right? And then the only extra thing that I need to make are carrots in order to feed the animals. So over here, I have 3 goats that are just producing a ton of goat's milk, but realistically, I probably only need like 1 or 2 because they make a lot of goat's milk. It's kind of wild. Um, and then I need goose eggs, but again, I don't need very many. Just need a few. But, you know, it is what it is. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise all these geese, and I'm just going to keep a couple. And then I'm going to raise more geese as I butcher more and more geese to have goose meat on hand to make the omelets and pies. So I've raised this gosling into a bunch of waddly boys. And we're going to take that. We're going to take that. And... oh, well, this one I had to produce eggs instead of more geese. So I get 20 goose eggs. Lovely. And so there we go. Now I've gone and collected everything that I need. Now I have 5 goslings. So what that basically means is that now I can just pick up all of these geese and put down a bunch more baby geese. So now all of these get turned into meat, and these go in storage. So pretty soon I'm going to have everything that I need to produce the food that I need to keep everything running, right? So here we have our cook, and if I look here, I've got everything that I own for food production in my inventory. And now you'll look at this and like all of this just to produce metal. Yes and no, because the funny thing is, as I am more and more focus efficient doing that, I produce excess seeds. So I have 11 cabbage seeds, not 9, and I only plant 9 at a time. So I can take 2 of these, and I can sell these for like nearly 16,000 silver. Actually, I think it's a little over that technically, but I can do that. I'm not going to at the moment because I'm afraid that I won't have enough focus to actually like water all of my plants, but I have the ability to do that sometimes. So let me take a look at the most, demanding food item here. So here we have goose pie. That requires goat's milk. I got plenty of goat's milk. It requires cabbage. I have got plenty of cabbage. Requires some flour. I don't have that much flour, so I can refine some. And then we have goose. Okay. So let's go and do what needs to be done for that. So we have raw goose. I get 20 for each goose. If I use focus, I can get some geese back, which is weird. I don't know how I'm going to butcher geese and then get geese back. So yeah, we're just going to go for this. We're going to get 100 raw goose out of these 5 geese that I've raised. Boom. Chop, chop. All done. Brutal. And then, wow, a butcher that uses a stump. Holy shit, that's hardcore. So then all I have left to do is to get some flour together, which easy enough to do. It's very, very quick. I just have to run over here and hit flour. I don't want to make too much, but I'll make, I'll make 20. Okay, now I have flour. So now let's head over here. Let's see what I can do for goose pies. All right, so I could make 2 sets of goose pies. Now here's something else to bear in mind, is that goose pie, which is second only to pork pie, increases gathering yield by 10% and max load by 20% for 30 minutes. So as I produce these things, I can just like take one off the top occasionally if I want. To just, use it for gathering or use it for transporting, which is super helpful. It just makes me a gathering transporting machine. Pork pie is actually better. It's I think 15% gathering yield and 30% max load, but I'm not making, I'm not raising pigs. So it's like, whatever. Maybe if I raise the level of my cook, I might do that at some point, but it's not necessary right now. But I'm going to say let's just do 10, right? So that's only going to cost me 6 cabbage, 12 of my flour, 24 of my goose, and 6 of the goat's milk. So if I craft that, actually, first, though, let's do another little exercise. So let's do... So I'm going to split these out into portions and figure out how much these raw materials are worth. So we see how much money we are losing, which it may be a little bit.
Dude, you got the whole money making scheme laid out, dude.
Oh yeah, no,
This is fire, man.
boiled it down to a science. So here we've got
Yeah.
2400.
Sam, didn't I tell you he always does this?
So
No,
it's
this
like
is actually this is really good content. I mean, I was
Yeah.
hoping that somebody would do this because this is needed, and I don't really see. I looked at a lot of videos out there for Albion. I don't even see anything that's like to this level of detail of
to
explaining
be honest,
how to do it.
Swole Benji does some stuff like this.
Yeah, Swole Benji is the best.
He
He
will go into stuff like this on occasion. He's not super well liked, for whatever reason. I think that he does a lot of PvP shenanigans that people don't particularly care for.
Yeah, I think that might be why they don't like him.
Yeah, but to be sure, he definitely has a grasp on how to work the farms and how to work the markets. He just doesn't like divulge all of that stuff until it's not necessarily as useful as it could have been, which honestly I kind of understand and respect.
He has his paid version too. Maybe he
Right.
does in that. Yeah.
So here we've got 10.5, we've got say 2.5, so we're going to call that about 13, yeah, about 1300, 1600, 22, no, yeah, 2200 roughly in ingredients. Okay. And then when we craft this, which will consume that much, the value is 2600. So that's sort of, that's the funny thing. Even without using focus, because if I use focus to do this, I get nearly 40% of the ingredients back. If, and if I'm have a higher cooking skill, that cost becomes far lower. But according to the estimated market value, this cost 22,000 silver, and this gives me 26,000 silver worth of value. Anyone see where I'm going with this? Cooking allows you to print money more or less. That's kind of the point. So cooking itself is a really good racket, right? But so is crafting, so is refining, so is crafting not so much, but refining absolutely is, right? So today, just because there was a fire staff crafting bonus. So like when you go up here, you look at activities and you see there's a daily production bonus. Right now it's 20% for arcane staves. Okay. So what you should be doing every day is seeing, okay, arcane staffs, 20%, that's a big deal. So what you want to do is you want to go to the map, you want to click, drop this little thing down, take a look at what has a production bonus. And you'll see that under base production bonuses, Thetford has maces, nature staves, fire staves, leather armor, and cloth helmet. And these are the event bonuses. Well, shit. That's not arcane staffs. So, okay, where's arcane staff? Let me see. Is it from Fort Sterling? Do we make arcane staffs here? No, we make holy staves and spears and hammers and stuff. Okay, that's not it. Let's go over here to Limhurst. Do Limhurst make arcane staffs? They do. So, what you're going to note from that is that in Limhurst, people are going to want what they need to produce arcane staffs, because this is when your arcane staff crafters are going to be doing their most work. Okay, so arcane staff. Let's see. Let's take a look in the Destiny board and see what this requires to craft. Arcanist. Okay, so we will see here that if I just click on one of these at random, yes, planks and steel bars plus artifacts. Okay, it's the exact same for fire staffs. So that means that, you know, on the higher levels, you're going to see higher rarity or a higher tier planks and steel bars. But what that basically means is if I do I have anything else to do? Yeah, I do have some other things that I need to do on the island first, real quick. I need to feed my animals, and then and then I need to go plant my stuff. So let me just do that real quick. But when I head out into, I'll see here. So I've raised geese a couple of times now so far. So if I go down here in my destiny board to animal breeder, I'm tier 14 animal breeder, and that means a lot. But I still am tier 0 under goose breeder. One more round of geese, and I'll have tier 1, which will be worth 200 specialization bonus to focus cost efficiencies. That's worth quite a bit, because right now my 14 tiers in animal breeder are worth 1400. Each one is worth 100, but every tier in this is worth twice as much as every tier in this. So whatever you're going to be raising, you want to raise it a lot, because you're going to get a lot of mileage out of those focus cost efficiency bonuses. So today I'm going to be spending 908 focus on nurturing these geese, which hurts because like it starts as 1,000 and then it goes down to I think like 150 when you get to max spec, which like yes please 150 sounds great. Um, but yeah, we're gonna just do this. Now, something else to bear in mind is that in order to get your island in the first place, you need premium. You do not need premium in order to keep your island. Once you get premium, you can make an island, and then you can just let your premium lapse, technically. Um, However, you should remember that certain things will be less efficient. So when you have premium, you get double the production from all of your animals, and you get double the um like the time goes by twice as fast on crops growing and on animals. So like it'll take 2 days for these chicks to grow into geese if I don't have premium. But the thing is, once you
So,
have premium, you
question,
can kind of keep it permanently easily enough. Yes.
question. Let's say that you have premium, and someone else, your friend or your teammate, or even me, my island, they're not doing anything with their island. Can they use, if they have sufficient permissions, if they've been granted that, can they use another person's island and
Absolutely.
use that premium and
Absolutely.
then do?
Which is one of the reasons why once you have a character with maximum spec in whatever it is that you're farming, it is a very good idea to make a few alts, buy them premium, and then just have them make an island and upgrade it, and then you can, you know, give yourself permissions to, you know, give your main character permissions, and now you just have a character who has like 5 or 6 or 10 or 100 islands, you know, and you can
Right.
maybe have 2 or 3
Which,
characters with
but
focus with farming spec maxed
but the
to
main
tend them.
takeaway here is you don't necessarily have to maintain the premium on all of the alts, just on one, and then he can go around and administer take care of all those islands, correct?
Right. I believe that is the case. So I think that
That's
how
huge if it is.
yeah, so if I with premium go to um you know go to Hopeful's Island and Hopeful has let his premium lapse, I should be able to plant something in his field and have
Mm-hmm.
it planted under the status of a premium user in the same way that if
Yep.
someone with premium opens a chest and doesn't take anything out of it in the wild, say in the open world, and then someone without premium comes along and opens it after it has been opened and its contents have been determined by a premium user, they'll get 150% of what would have otherwise been in that chest if they had opened it, right? They'll get premium loot, basically. So I believe it will work that way. Um, so yeah, I mean, having a bunch of just dead accounts with fully specced out or fully maxed out islands, super useful. Also, take a look at that shiny two digit number on our viewer count. That feels pretty good. Um, Great to see all you guys here.
You see 2 digits. I show 6 on my end. I think
Oh, it
it's
shows it
buggy.
shows 10 on mine. Um,
Yeah,
that could or
it's.
could not be a real thing. Who knows?
I feel like there's 10 people here. I've seen 10 unique names. So yeah, there. Okay, I just needed to reload the page. Now it does show 10.
All right.
Well, we get to 25 and we'll send out some funds to you guys.
I
So
believe
of
in you
course,
guys. I believe you can do it. Also, hey, I I dipped my toe in the water, no pun intended, on fishing. Um, it's not the worst. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. You can do fishing stuff for cooking. So like every so often when you are you know harvesting crops, you'll get earthworms, right? I didn't get any, it doesn't look like, but you'll get earthworms and you can like craft them into fish bait, and you can use seaweed that you get while fishing as an incidental thing to make fish sauce with your chopped fish that you can fish for, and the fish sauce is used to create higher tier food. So like goose pie max spec, like if I use 30 special fish sauce on a goose pie to make a 5.3 goose pie, it's gonna be more effective than a base tier um, pork pie, and a max spec pork pie is gonna be like hot shit, um, basically. So and they're very expensive and very lucrative to go down that alley and all. So yeah, it's potentially worth doing. Now, looking at my focused issues, I'm hesitant to plant much of anything because I'm not going to be able to water it. Um, it might actually not be the worst idea for me to just like wait a little bit and build up my supplies of stuff as or build up my focus a little bit so that I can dive back into farm production stuff. Um, I'm pretty committed to running the whole like animals thing for a little while. But what I can easily enough do is raise geese for a couple of days, which will cost me less than 10,000 focus a day, and build up my supply of raw goose, and then just let them just chill, feed them carrots for a little while, um, build up goose eggs, let that supply, be a thing. Um, and then I can just like go back to farming a shit ton of carrots or a shit ton of cabbage or something. Um, doesn't really matter.
hey Kruniak, RNL Sports says that he's tried to join the guild. He's wondered if you see. I think his name is RNL Sports in game. What he's saying.
Yeah.
Nope, not seeing it.
Interesting.
It takes a while for it to come through sometimes. So I just accepted one actually today that said it was like a day and a half old. And I looked last night when he was saying, "Can someone accept me?" And like it wasn't here last night. But like today I looked at it, still wasn't here. And when I started streaming, I looked at it, it was here. Um it said it arrived 2 days ago. So I'm like, okay, maybe it'll just take a while for it to come through. But yeah, if you've applied and you have like put your name and said that you're from the Discord and you haven't been accepted and it's been a couple of days, it's probably just because like the mail system is slow or something. I wouldn't worry too much. Um,
Is there a way we can just invite him manually? Maybe we could just do that.
I think that might be possible. Um,
I would, but I'm doing an update right now in the game because I haven't launched it in a while. So it'll
invite
be
player. What is it? RNL
RNL
Sports.
Sports. Yeah.
Player does not exist. So I think we're spelling it wrong. Or maybe he's on West.
Oh.
That would
Yeah.
that would
Oh,
that would be
yeah.
awkward.
Hopefully he's on the East server.
Yeah, but you know, we'll see. So yeah, I was gonna show you guys some simple stuff. So let me throw all of this stuff in the bank real quick. And I will show you how you can make a whole bunch of silver by moving stuff from point A to point B. This is like the most effective and least fun way to make silver in a lot of people's minds. So like there isn't a heck of a lot of glamour in it, and yeah, too bad. You know, that's kind of the way it is. Oh, I should have fed these to the chef. Whoops. Unfortunate.
Oh, it's. Did you put the E in it? It's RNL Esports.
Oh, no, I didn't.
R. Yeah, try that. I like the name, by the way.
Oh, isn't online.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so log into once you log into the game, he'll be able to add you.
Yeah.
You have to be in game in order to do an invite.
All right. So let me show you something real quick. So I actually have a sell order open for this. So you guys can do this, and there's few enough of you that I'm not worried about you guys breaking the market, especially with like the low transport capacity that you have. So let me show you. Resource plank. Tier 4. Okay, pine planks are going for 319 silver in Thetford because they've been so bought out over the course of the last couple of days, right? Or day or so because of the fire staff crafting thing. Okay, so pine planks are incredibly expensive. Let's take a look at cedar planks. Oh, would you look at that? 684 silver. I have an open order to sell for 687 silver. This is cedar planks. Let's take a look at blood oak planks. 2,700. And up higher, probably going to become unmanageable, difficult to get to the crafting of those things. But even pine planks is probably doable, right? Because in order to make a pine plank, you need 2 pine logs and 1 cedar plank. Okay? Cedar planks, pretty expensive right now as well. But if you know where things are produced, and you know where resources can be found, you can make a pretty decent guess on where you need to go to buy things cheaply. So incidentally, Thetford is close to a reasonable supply of cedar logs. So if I look, the planks are very expensive, but these are some of the cheapest cedar logs you can find. At 130, buy orders are being filled. Okay, if you're patient and you place a large order, you can get a lot of cedar logs. Okay, Fort Sterling is where wood refining happens. So as a general rule, the planks should be about as cheap as they can get in Fort Sterling. Okay? So what I did was I bought cedar logs here and I brought them to Fort Sterling and bought some pine planks there, crafted on the Guild Island, and brought them back here to sell them. Now, let me show you something that. Oh, wait, I have to go back into the bank. Whoops. That should be pretty easy to predict. So, we saw that there's an arcane staff crafting bonus. Arcane staves are not as popular as fire staves, and this is something that you need to bear in mind when it comes to market work and refining. Is you need to know what items are highly sought after and meta. Some of you, most of you probably are familiar with what it means for something to be meta, but you know, there's meta in terms of like outside of whatever it is, which is how you would use the word in like art, the art world, like meta narrative, or whatever, which is when you have a narrative on the author within the piece. Usually that's how meta narrative is meant, or like you have a story that is saying something about the political climate at the time that the piece of art was created. That's how meta is often used, but in this case with video games, meta just means most effective tactic available. Okay? And I used the word for years without knowing what that stood for. So like fire staves are meta right now. Okay, they do a lot of damage. People use them in PvP. They're great. Other things that are meta, Whispering Bow. For archers, Whispering Bow is very strong. For crossbows, it is Boltcaster, I believe. For cursed staves, it's just fucking cursed staves, man. They're great. You know, in quarter staves, double bladed. People love the double bladed staff. So if you look around at some of the items, just click through them. Like literally, you can go here, and you can just click on this. So for fire staves, I can just click this and scroll down. Oh, look, estimated market value for a tier 4 Adept fire staff is 2,500 gold. Great fire staff, 3,200 gold. Infernal staff, 3,600 gold. Wildfire staff, 9,000. Okay. Brimstone staff, 5,000. A blazing staff, 92,000. Okay, something tells me that this is meta, right? We look at Dawn Song, 23,000. More meta than the rest of these, but not as meta as the blazing staff is. Okay, so that should tell you most of what you need to know. Blazing staff is like the best, you know, or the most meta fire staff. It's the most expensive, that's for sure, right? So now if I go down to, let's say something that I'm a little less familiar with. Let's say, let's look at melee weapons. Okay, let's look at hammers. What's the most meta hammer? Normal hammer, pole arm, or pole hammer, great hammer, tomb hammer, no. Forge hammers, grove keeper, hand of justice. Okay, hand of justice seems that like people use this a little bit, right? This is pretty expensive. Let's take a look at let's take a look at maces. All right, normal mace, nope, not heavy mace, not Morningstar, bedrock mace. People do use this. Okay, not a ton, but they do. Incubus mace, people use it, not a ton. Camlan mace, yeah, people use it. Oath keepers, yep, people use them. All right. So like that's kind of what you want to be looking at is when you have gone through and you understand like what is actually used. You know, what do people care about? And obviously looking at the tier 4 version of these things is not always going to give you great information. But like Bear Paws, what the heck? This is 110k. clearly, if you see that bear paws have like, if you look here at activities and you see plus 20% to bear paws, you should probably take a look at what's used to craft bear paws and immediately go and start doing transportation for that. So like, oh, we see pine planks and steel bars. Okay, that's pretty simple. So wherever it is that has the refining bonus for that, you probably want to like, do some transporting. So I saw that Arcane Staff, which currently has a plus 20%, has a bonus in Limhurst. So there's a plus 35% crafting bonus in Limhurst right now. To make those, you need planks and steel, or planks and bars, right? So if I look at the price of planks here, we'll see. What? Let me try that again. That didn't seem right. Okay, so we'll see that the price of planks is so high that enchanted planks are actually cheaper. Right now, the cost of cedar planks is up to 2,000. What
Whoa.
the fuck? That
Wow,
is
we could be
unreal. Because
making
somebody
some
decided that they
serious
wanted to
money.
craft all of the arcane staffs. Okay, there are buy orders at 52 525 right now in
You had a
Limhurst.
ton of cedar logs. You could be making a lot of money right now,
Yeah,
right?
so if you buy cedar logs in Thetford, you bring them to Fort Sterling, you buy pine planks, you craft cedar planks, you take them to Limhurst. People are starving for cedar planks right now. There is no supply. This is when you get in. This is when you make money. So I will literally show you guys how to do this, okay? It's very easy. And we might have to like take a break and go do something else while we wait for some of the orders to fill. But this is a very easy thing to do, and you can make a lot of silver doing it. Right now is a great time to do it, like because it takes a minute for people to figure out, oh, this is where the money's at, right? So it's not that often, but sometimes you can get resources. You can just buy resources and move them and like 5x your silver, or you can do some refining in the middle with some bonuses, and you can also make a pretty decent amount of silver. Something to bear in mind, though, that may or may not be obvious is that you will need upfront capital. So you cannot leave Tutorial Island and immediately start doing transportation because products are heavy and refining takes skill that you have to build fame in order to like do it efficiently, right? And obviously, yeah, if you're doing a lot of refining, you might use focus. I'm using focus for farming right now, but maybe you would or wouldn't want to do that. So let me just head back to Thetford, or actually let me stop in Fort Sterling. I'm going to stop in Fort Sterling and I'm going to put in an order for some pine planks so that I can kind of get going. But also, Sam, yeah, if you wanted to log in and sell your pine planks now, or sell your cedar planks, now's a great time.
Yeah, I'm
People
doing the
seem into
update.
that.
We'll see. Looks
Yeah.
like I can log on. Yeah.
Um,
I don't think I can craft them yet, so I would need to work on that first.
I mean, yeah, and like that's the thing is that you won't be able to craft or you won't be able to refine stuff from right off Tutorial Island. So like you do have to work up to these things, and that's why I think that what Modern and what Shadowboy do is actually really beneficial because when you're starting out, it's often a good idea to start with combat skills, right? You want to start with combat skills. You want to go out and you want to do dungeons and you want to do group dungeons together. There's decent loot there. You want to do if you're really adventurous, you can run out into the black zone and you can try and do some stuff. What I would recommend though is if you're going into the black zone, you guys want to be going into the black zone when it's the middle of the day on my half of the planet, right? You don't want to go into the black zone during Asian prime time, right? You want to go into the black zone at like 3 in the morning your time when it's quiet. But if you guys go in there in the middle of the day, you're going to get immediately murdered. Like, horrible time, believe me. It's happened to me and it's the worst. Yeah, so pine planks. I can get them pretty cheap compared to the other places. You know, I'll never get pine planks as cheaply here as I would in Brazilian, but I don't really feel like fucking around with trying to get shit in Brazilian and bring it here because it's just more trouble than it's worth for the most part. So I'm gonna just buy pine planks for like 242. Oh wait, no, buy order. Put it at 242. We'll put in a buy order for like 4K. Yeah. And that way I can do 12,000 cedar logs. So this is going to cost me 1,000,000 silver. I have 14.5 million silver to sink into this. The pine planks alone will cost me 1,000,000 silver straight up. That's not cheap. You need to have capital to work with in order for this to be effective. Okay? Whoops. Let me get rid of these things that I have expired sell orders on from 30 days ago. Lol. Yeah, pine planks are pretty expensive. But again, remember, I bought 4,000 of them, you know? Or I'm buying 4,000 of them. So, yeah, for a lot of these things, you want to use sell or buy orders because that's just going to be cheaper in the long run. If you buy at the price that people are sell ordering at, you're going to pay more, right? So you want to do buy orders as a general rule, and you want to keep an eye on them to make sure that they're getting filled, because if the price goes up over time, you're going to get buried. But now we're going to go back to Thetford. I'm going to put in a... is this only on PC? No, it is also on mobile. It's certainly easier in some regards on PC, particularly for like working with spreadsheets and stuff like that, but it is by no means like PC exclusive. You can absolutely play on mobile. I'm more comfortable on PC, but that's because I'm more comfortable on PC, not because it's somehow like a better experience. Let's take a look at wooden, yep, wood and tier 5. And here we go. The cedar logs I will buy at 131. And, you know, something to bear in mind as well is that right now, cedar logs in Thetford are 130 silver each during a high demand time. If I was thinking about this, what I would be doing is I would be waiting until there was absolutely no reason for people to care about cedar logs. I would go to Thetford or somewhere that has a lot of cedar logs, and I would put in buy orders when they're super low, like in the, 98 silver a piece range. And then I'd put in buy orders for like 40,000 of them and just chuck them in the bank. Wait until the price goes up and then do my refining and stuff. I mean, sell them then. Like that's basically what Sam and I did a few weeks back. Is there was another moment like this where the price of cedar planks was pretty high. We got in on the tail end of it. We sold a few, but our second batch didn't sell until literally yesterday. They sold, and I just got a tidy couple million just like trickled into my inventory. It was pretty great. Okay.
So I noticed we do have about 10 million in the guild bank. And by the way, big thanks to Bellatrix. He actually donated that. Remember earlier I was saying, hey, you guys be active in the guild and we'll want to send you some crypto. We offered to send him his crypto, but he declined. So that was a gift to you guys basically, because this money goes back to help the community. So we have 10 million in silver, so couldn't we start another guild on another city or do something that we could
I mean,
use?
technically you could upgrade the current guild island, although I don't really know why we would.
I think it's more cost effective to start another one, I think.
So
Last time we
yes and
looked
no.
at this.
The other thing is that having another guild is almost unnecessary, right? Because
okay.
well, the reason I say that, hold on, let me lower my desk. The reason
What
I
about for
say
the
that is
crafting
because
stations in these other cities and stuff?
yeah, the guild islands provide you with normal plots. And normal plots don't do that much, technically,
Okay.
right?
So we just need the personal islands in these other cities then.
Yeah,
is really
what we
all
can
need.
do instead is we can have guild officers or really anyone who has premium who makes their personal island in another city. Bear in mind, if you do that, you're doing that with the intent to make express use of whatever that city's bonuses are as a general rule, right? Um, but then you just open use of your guild island to the rest of the people in the guild, and you have other people who make their islands there. And you just make sure that everybody understands that each individual island that each person is running is kind of tailored toward a different purpose, right? Because that's really what a guild island wants to do is fill in all the gaps with its normal building spaces. Like what I would say would be best for a guild island would be that's where you have the refining station, that's where you have the the cooking station and all of that junk. And then the personal islands, most people would have houses and they would have uh laborers on their personal islands. But realistically, I think the math comes in that laborers take a couple of years to like break even on the investment into laborers. So like laborers on East are apparently not really worth it, but cooking absolutely is. So guild islands don't really provide as much value as the personal islands at the moment.
Okay.
So what we need to be doing is, as people make their personal islands, make sure that you have that everyone in the guild, or at least most of the people in the guild, or at least the people in the guild who you trust, but ideally everybody in the guild has access to use your island. Maybe not
So
like break your shit, but like to use your stuff.
so then the best use of this funds is save up until we have enough to probably get a transport mammoth, and then let people like Bellatrix and yourself
Yeah,
and
that's
others
really what
use
you want to be
that.
doing is
Okay.
make sure that you have people who are vetted in the use of these sorts of things, like the transport mammoth, um, are allowed to use it so that they can, maximize value for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Because like when you have a transport mammoth, so let me show you something pretty simple. Okay, items bought in Fort Sterling. Look at that. I bought 4,000 pine planks in Fort Sterling, and it took all of like 5 minutes for that order to fill, just like that.
Nice.
You know, I'm glad I put that in before I came to get these. So right now, let me
So
just
why are you getting the pine planks? Is that somehow so you
to craft the cedar planks. You
the
need
cedar
pine planks to
planks?
craft cedar planks. So let me show you this. Okay, I don't have boots on right now because I'm stupid, but like, uh, you know, with boots it would be just like 50 higher. I'd be just over 2k. But if I have this little details thing out, it shows me that with a tier 6 excellent quality transport ox, a tier 5 excellent quality, it's 5.0 bag, and this will come in later. I have nearly 2,000 kilograms of carrying capacity on this here cow. This gives me the ability to carry, 30% roughly more. It reduces the weight of my logs that I carry by 30%. So if I'm going to carry a lot of logs, I want to have this thing on. So like, this is 2,000 kilograms that I can carry. Let me show you cedar logs. Okay. Let me see if I can find one cedar log. Or here's 4. This is easy enough to do. Oh, god damn it. Isn't there anybody who's selling a single log here? Ugh. Alright, well, that's irritating. Basically, like, a stack of 1,000 of these logs is 759 or 760 kilograms. Okay? That's the point I'm trying to make. I can carry 2,000 kilograms, or probably about 2,600 kilograms because of this. But one stack of these is like a lot, okay? I can carry like 4 stacks of these. That's about 4,000 logs. If I throw on a pork pie, I can carry realistically maybe 6. I think I carried 6 last transport I did. So yeah, I can carry about 6 stacks of these if I use a pork pie, maybe 7 if I'm willing to go a little slow.
And then with the
A transport mammoth can carry another order of magnitude. Okay,
times 10, right?
is it 10 or is it
Carry.
20,000 kilograms?
Yo, but with the transport mammoth, like, how fucking fast does it go? Like, is that thing just like a
30%.
snail's pace?
It's 30% movement speed bonus, which is about equivalent to
Almost half, right?
yeah,
Almost
it's
half the
about
speed.
equivalent to the speed that I would be going without gallop on this ox, while slightly overloaded. It's slow, but the thing is, it carries so much more that it doesn't matter. The other thing is that it doesn't
Right.
gallop, so you can walk through whatever you want, and it just
think
doesn't care.
I think you're right. It is 20%, 20,000, which is 10 times more than what the
Right.
master transport
So
ox
when
is.
I did this transport from Thetford to Fort Sterling and back to Thetford to sell at to make about 700,000 in profit, I would have made another order of magnitude on 700,000 for one trip. That is 7 million in one trip that took me about half an hour.
Right, right. So it would take about an hour, but you'd make 10 times what you made. You know, so
I don't
yeah,
think it
you'd
would
make
take an
7.
hour, honestly. I think it would take about maybe 40 minutes.
Which should be half the speed. So it would take
But
half
the
an
thing
hour.
is that it's half the speed bonus, not half the speed. Because if it was half the speed, we'd be talking like 25% reduced from your normal character's walking speed.
Oh, I see what
But
you're
it's half
saying.
the
Half
speed
the
bonus.
speed bonus.
It's really
Okay.
only about 10 to 15. It's about 15% slower.
Okay, that's actually really
So it's
yeah,
really and
you're
the
right.
other thing is that the ox wants to go around stuff that's going to hit it, but the mammoth doesn't have a gallop speed. It doesn't get slowed down. It's already pretty slow, but it can walk through everything and not care about it. It's CC immune, so it can't be like slowed or anything. Like it really is batshit insane how good they are. I'm
So
almost
how,
inclined to say everybody here, we should just farm you out to that one Twitch streamer who gives away a mammoth a month because he just has so much freaking silver, and we should just try and see if we could get one. But
oh yeah. Yeah, well, no, we'll get the silver for it here. I mean, we've got
yeah,
5 million, and that's the thing is like as you guys donate the silver to guild, it sounds like that's what we're going to be using it for. So we're going to be basically giving it back to you guys, right? Because
right,
the mammoth is going to be for the community use. Now, someone like Bellatrix or somebody that's been here a long time is going to have to hold control of it, but he's not going to be able to carry all the capacity with his stuff. So he's going to need 2 or 3 other people to go with him and carry their stuff on that mammoth, and then you guys could
right.
all earn with that.
So like if if somebody here gets to the point where they have built the capital, so here's kind of the conundrum, right? You could build up a small like system that you can use to donate silver to the guild, and the guild can eventually, through all of you working together to pour silver into the fund, the guild can then therefore like afford to buy a transport mammoth for the general community use. Or if you are particularly industrious and you feel that you want to build up 260 million silver on your own and buy a transport mammoth that's yours, then that thing is yours. You get to use that to produce silver over time for your own use or to donate to the guild, and you can do with that information what you will. But basically, I would say a transport mammoth, if you're using it effectively and you're paying attention to the way that the market functions, I would hazard that if you're grinding, a transport mammoth, once you have it, should be able to pay for itself in a matter of days. If you're really dedicated. Like, that's how good it is. If I was really sweaty, I would probably be able to make enough to buy my own transport mammoth in a couple of weeks. I'm not that sweaty. I have other things to do. I need to eat on occasion and like go for a walk so that I don't like cramp up and die. But
Right.
if I was super dedicated, absolutely. Yeah, with like the observations that I've made about how this game functions, yeah. You could definitely make a couple of alts. Just pound that refining for a couple of days and try to set up sell orders to sell when the market's high, funnel all that money into one character, make those personal islands happen. Yeah, you could probably crank out a transport mammoth in like a couple of weeks if you're really sweaty about it.
Wait a minute. Tina says that she sees 18 viewers online. We're so close. 7
Bro,
more.
I wish I could see those numbers because like right now I see 8. Hold on, let me
Yeah.
open up Twitch and see if it
If you
shows
just
something different.
reload it. Let me reload mine.
Sometimes when people that get disconnected and they reconnect, it double counts them. So let me
I am showing 8 as well. Yeah, but
dashboard.
how many people are actually here? Type a 1 in chat if you're here.
Some people who are viewing who wouldn't have accounts. So right now, yeah, Twitch shows that we have 12. That seems a little more realistic.
There, I see 12. Yeah. But we probably did actually hit 18 there to peak. I mean, I believe that number is real. I mean, it's just, if we got to get everybody to stay here online, and yeah, we got 25 online. We can't just like hit, 18 and then 6 leave and 6 come back. We got to have 25 actually here.
Right. And to be sure, if we don't see that number live, like if that number never happens with the live display number, that doesn't mean that it never happened. And what we can easily do is we can look at the analytics after the stream and determine and determine if we did actually hit that number. Because if we determine after the stream that we hit that number, then we can figure it out from there. Then what we would do with that is we would announce a giveaway at tomorrow's stream, and then we would just say show up then, and you'll be eligible.
Yeah, 9 so far are actually here, have typed in chat. So, and we show 15 on the counter. We're getting close, guys. Let's just get a few more people. Let's just blow the number out of the water. We don't even have to worry about counting exactly.
Okay.
Just get to 30.
So what I'm seeing here is that it's going to take a while for this order to fill for cedar logs, and that's fine. Like, it might take a day for it to fill. That's totally fine. I don't care. My pine planks filled, and I have other things that I can go do that I can make income on. Those things do not include going to the black zone because it is prime time for this server, and that is a terrible idea. Also, something to bear in mind, if you're playing diligently, let me show you this thing. Okay, if you're playing diligently, you will get 4 of these chests every month when you make premium, because you'll make premium in under a month. So every month they have this adventurers challenge. They have, Conquerors challenge is an ongoing thing. Faction warfare. You'll get these chests, okay? And in these kinds of chests, you'll find certain stuff. One of the things that you can get is called a focus restoration potion. This will give you 10,000 focus. This is incredibly valuable, particularly now during this stage when I'm trying to up my spec in my farming stuff. So I could technically equip this, drink it, and go and water all of my plants. I'm seriously considering doing it. But I think that it might be worth me holding onto it for now until I have a little more spec to where it has like a higher monetary value. But basically, these are incredibly valuable. Every month, you should expect to get approximately 1. Sometimes you might get 2, sometimes you might get 0, but I would guess on average you'd expect to get about 1 of those a month from the Adventurers Challenge chests. it is very important that when you do hit premium, you go into Adventurers Challenge, Faction Warfare Campaign, and Conqueror's Challenge, if you've done Conqueror's Challenge stuff, and you claim all of those chests, because they're worth quite a bit of silver. First thing I did when I unlocked premium was I went into those, and between the 3 of those, I think I got like 4 million silver, which I basically could just be attributed to all of the time that I'd spent playing before I unlocked premium.
Trying to remember where I put my logs. I remember about like 9,000 cedar logs. Where are they? Also, another thing too, if you guys are getting in the routine of buying stuff in a lot of different cities, make sure that you do clear everything out and bring it to your bank, because after 60 days it will delete it. So
All right, so I'll head back to Fort Sterling, I think. So something I observed the hard way. Faction warfare is a very good way to make silver, right? You get a lot for basically everything that you're doing anyway, passively. And if you are doing actual faction warfare, like capturing zones, something that you should know is that red zone capture is worth a lot of points. However, if you go into these zones, wear garbage. Don't wear your good stuff. Okay? I got sucked into just going with the Zerg, wearing my decent stuff, thinking, oh, this stuff is pretty good. I'm pretty safe. I was not safe. I lost a 1 million silver mount. Okay? I felt terrible. Don't do it. Because people are assholes and they will BM the fuck out of you. If you're going to do faction warfare in the red zones, because it's absolutely worth it, you get absolutely fantastic faction points from this. I was getting 2,500 points per like map capture, and I was getting like 250 to 300 points per point capture. Okay, huge points for red zones, but like, wear your black zone shit for that. Like, let me show you something. Okay. When I am in the yellow zone or in the blue zones, I wear different stuff than when I'm in the red zone. So,
and also, I'm actually pretty certain the bots actually work this way. If you have a certain type of gear on that looks like you're obviously transporting, like a bear mount or a polar bear mount, stuff like that, they're going to flag you automatically and let these other large guilds knows that are PvP ganking guilds, hey, there's a high value target coming through, let's go get them. The reason why is you get penalized when you do PvP someone. You don't want your penalty to go for something that you're going to get 100,000 worth of stuff from. You want it to be
right.
a 3 or 4 or 5 million haul. So that's why you're a target when you're obviously, you know, you look like you're worth a lot, so that's you're gonna be, there'll be 0 or there'll be 1 little scout in the zone, and all of a sudden there's 14 there, and that's why.
So like, this is what I wear if I'm in the black zone. Okay, I wear a
Bro, so what? Wait,
4.1.
What was the $1 million mount you lost?
Oh, I lost my boar.
Bro,
I lost my
no, the
ghost
ghost
boar.
boar?
Yep.
Oh, the ghost boar. Oh
Yep.
no, shoot.
Yeah, feels
Dude,
really bad.
I'll give you mine, bro. That
No, no,
makes
no,
me
no,
feel
no,
so
no.
sad.
It's unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. I learned a lesson and that was valuable. The other thing is that I have the
Still.
money to buy another one if I want one. Like,
I know, but that's hardly the point. At that, like, if
it's
you
all
feel
good,
that way,
man.
then just return it to me later. Like, buy me one later,
You
bro.
can
It's
make me a
fine,
nice
fine.
cow or something.
Right,
No
right.
need. So let me show you something. Okay. Uh, is it undead? Or mount? Oh, not bored. Duh. I'm stupid. Hold on. Mountain Heart, no. Or Elite Wild Boar, that ain't it. Huh. Category. Mount. Rare mount. Oh, Spectral. Yeah, this is what I lost. Spectral Dire Boar, okay? This thing comes for, like, you get it for free. But I thought that it would probably be safe because it has a thing that, you know, if you're on it, you can just go invisible whenever you want. Unfortunately, when you're not on it, people can hit you and then it disappears and then you're a squishy little piece of shit and they can just kill you. And then you lose all of your stuff because you're in the red zone and it feels terrible. Right. But this thing is worth about 1 million silver. Yeah, feels bad. But the thing is that sometimes the price goes down pretty considerably. There's another little secret that I discovered recently, which could be incredibly lucrative, like obscenely lucrative, okay? And that has to do with skins. Now, this is a little bit of a risky market move, but let me show you Faction Warfare Gold Campaign Chest. I opened this a little bit like a couple of days ago, and in it was let me see, where's skins? Vanity? No? Oh, vanity. Here we go. Consumable vanity. Oh wait, undead rib cage? Yeah, here it is. This skin dropped. This skin is expensive. Okay? The buy orders for it were about 1665 here. They were pretty low around most of the royal cities, but they were more like 2 million in Brazilian. Okay? And the funny thing about skins is that what you'll notice, this skin weighs 0.1 kilograms. Now, when you go to the travel planner, the travel planner charges you cargo based on weight. Not value, but weight. You can carry a 2 million silver skin to Brazilian at the travel planner for about 500 silver. And there is a profit differential of several hundred thousand.
Wow.
So
I didn't know
you
that was that
can,
weight.
yeah, there is something to be done here with vanity, because the skins weigh nothing in some cases. All right, like if you, let's see, what's the most expensive skin on the market right now? This one, the Sea Captain's Coat. None are being sold. There are buy orders at 15.5 million, and there's one for sale at 78 million. Okay. These things are incredibly expensive, but again, it weighs 0.1 kilograms. Like the Frost Moose skin, 0.1 kilograms. There aren't any for sale, but there are buy orders out for 13.5 million. If you come across one of these things for sale in one city, and you know for a fact that there's a buy order out in another city for more than the sell order in another city, you can just buy it at sale price, go to the travel planner, instantly teleport to that city, and resell it in a matter of minutes for a profit of potentially several 100,000 silver to maybe some number of millions. No one does this, okay? I've never seen YouTube videos about it or anything like that. And it does not require expensive mounts. What it does require is an incredible amount of upfront capital to facilitate. The other thing you have to bear in mind is that 2.5% of the purchase goes to the market when you sell a thing. Um, when you buy something, that's not an issue. Only if you do a buy order, you have a setup fee. But like, you will pay a market tax, so you have to make sure that you're making at least, a decent number of percent profit. Your net needs to be more than some percentage in order to ensure that you're not losing money. But if you see that there's like a decent profit, go for it. It's worth it. Um, you know, the other thing that you can do, or like what I was talking about before I got sidetracked onto skins, um, I was pointing out that like this setup, this is what I would recommend wearing into the black zone or the red zone. Not to say wear this specific stuff, but to say wear cheap shit. Like when you start playing, this is more or less what you're going to be wearing, and it won't feel cheap because you don't have any silver. But once you get your spec up a little bit, you've been playing a while, you're going to have the ability to buy, and use stuff that's a little better. You're going to be able to use, this kind of stuff that, actually packs a punch. Let's see, where's my staff at? Here it is. Yeah, so like this is my good stuff, right? With this stuff on, my average item power is like 1300. Okay. Um that's not the most, but like it's considerably more than 900, you know? And it cost a lot more. So right now my equipment is worth 1.35 million. That other set of equipment is pretty effective for like doing some PvE and getting around quickly, and it's worth about 40,000 silver. Like I can lose like 20 of those and not feel too bad, right? And hopefully over the course of, whatever I'm doing, I'll have gained plenty to make it worth losing. Um Whoops, I just forgot to get my gathering gear. Um so like if I flag up for faction warfare, which I will show you how to do that in a second. If you are totally new, that might be a little confusing. Um, oh no, spoiled anniversary cake. I can't even trade it. It's a collector's item. Spoiled cake. Feels bad. Um, so yeah, let me... No, I'm on my pleb boar that Modern gave me some time ago. But yeah, so if you go to this person, there's somebody like this in every one of the royal cities, right? And they have all of the stuff you can trade your faction points for. My goal right now is to reach this rank, Paladin. I'm 20% of the way there because it takes a long time. But we're going to flag up, and that's going to put this little banner next to my name, which looks nicer the more you are ranked up. And then I'm going to head into the yellow zone, and I'm going to show you something. So every single thing that we do while flagged up gives me faction points, right? So like the other thing to bear in mind though is that while you're flagged, people who are flagged for other cities can PvP you anytime they want, no matter where you are. So like for example, I am out here in the yellow zone and I'm flagged up. You're gonna see there's some numbers that pop up over this person. See, there's fame, and then there's that little point there. That just gave me 5 faction points for that kill. Okay? 5 faction points, not a heck of a lot. But it does add up over time. Now I need like 1.4 million of them. So it takes a really long time. But then like, let's do something else. So like, I can kill this titanium golem, and that'll give me 2 faction points. Then I can mine the ore out of this golem, and each one of these will give me 2 faction points. Right? Like, these do add up. So if you're going to do gathering anyway, or if you're going to go out and you're going to do some dungeon clearing or some mob clearing anyway, flag up first. Just bear in mind that you can't be flagged up when you go into the mists. It'll automatically clear it. And you can't go into another city while you're flagged. That just does not work. 3 silver. So let me try and find a slightly more intimidating mob to show you how much like how many faction points you can actually get. Okay, so here's some uncommon iron ore. That's going to give me 7 faction points. A little better, not the best, but a little better. Here's some uncommon titanium. This is likely to be a whole lot better. So each one of these is going to give me 5 points. So across the whole thing, it should give me a little over 25. Boom. Feels pretty good. Alrighty. And now see this point over here. This is currently owned by my faction. See, Champion of Fort Sterling. But in other zones, it'll be captured by other factions. Okay, here's a slightly more intimidating enemy than I fought the last time. She should give me like maybe 10 or 15. Yeah, 17 faction points. So that starts to add up a little bit if you fight a lot of those mobs. So these two, they'll each give me 5. It's not a lot, but it's something. You know, each of those give me 5. That feels pretty good. Get one of those. Get this, because it's uncommon, and that's always nice to have. Let's see if I can't find a glowing mob. So, oh, there we go. Perfect. So here you see this Huntress is renowned. She's leveled up, basically. She's glowing. So if I fight her, she's going to do a lot more damage. She's going to have more special moves. She's going to have more HP. But on top of that, she's going to give me more silver and fame, and she gave me 40 faction points. That's not bad. 40 is good. I was really happy with the constructs because they each gave you like 150 if you were a little bit further away from your city. They give you like 150 faction points per guy. And they give you quite a bit of fame as well. They are no longer around because that was an anniversary event. But they do stuff like that from time to time, and when there are those events on and you have like big bosses, like or like you know, tough mobs that are walking around like that, take advantage of it. You know, like I got a whole lot of faction points from just fighting those guys. I didn't have to go do faction warfare with anyone. You know, I could just hang around and do antisocial mob farming and get a lot of faction points. Let's see. Can we find any better mobs? You know what? I'm actually going to head over into an adjacent zone. Something else to bear in mind, right? This thing here, faction flagging bonus level 1. Okay? So that bonus of 5% at the moment is for being 1 zone away from the faction city. If I'm 2 zones away, it's 10%, 3 or more, 15%. So in order to be most efficient with your faction flag, or your faction warfare stuff. Oh, shit. I gotta get to that far point because we haven't captured it yet. I want to try and get credit for this zone. If I can make it in time, I can get possibly... probably like 600 faction points for being part of that. And they're starting to do it. I might not make it in time. I'm going as fast as I can. They're probably going to kill the guy, but if I stand on the, like, capture zone, I should be able to get credit. I made it in time. Okay, there we go. And now you see this little circle goes around because we've killed the boss in here and all of the dudes. And when this fills up again afterwards, it'll show me how many points I gain. It'll probably be something really pitiful because it's the first zone I've captured today. And it's in a yellow zone, so it's probably going to be like less than 60, I would guess. 55, yep, pretty low. But eventually, now the timer starts for this to fill up, and when the zone gets captured, I should get some number of 100 points. The other nice thing is that while I will... Oh, that's not going to work. I'll get some number of hundreds of points for the zone capture, but it's really like every day you want to keep an eye on this here. As this fills up to these breakpoints, you'll get bonus points. So you'll get like a bonus of like 8,000 points if you farm 5,000 faction points in a day. So it's really not too hard to get a decent like number of points. So if you're doing that, you're getting like what, 13,000 a day, and that over the course of what, that over the course of about 100 days is enough to get you to nearly Paladin. 100 days sounds like an awfully long time, but think of it this way. That's like 3 months of game time, and you're gonna be doing pretty well. Oh my god, where is the guy? I can't click on him. But then if you're like super hardcore about it, you could probably make Paladin in like a month. If faction warfare is just your favorite thing ever to do in terms of like content. And again, if you're flagged all the time whenever you're doing anything else that you're doing in the yellow or the blue zone, yeah, you're absolutely gonna do pretty well. You know, in a perfect world, I'd like to think that I could faction flag while I farm my my crops and get faction points for that. That'd be fantastic. But unfortunately, I do faction warfare for Fort Sterling because that's where the guild is based, and I have my personal island in Thetford, which is who we're killing right now, is Thetford's guys. But like realistically, I like Thetford. Thetford's pretty cool. They're swamp people, but you know, that's cool. Wow, I'm jealous. Look at these guys and their cool mounts. But yeah, I'll you know, I'll get one eventually. It's my own damn fault. Man, these guys killed this guy real quick. So we're just going to capture this area. And look at that, I got invited to the party. Yep. I'm part of the party now. So there's like what, 15 or so people in this group. Maybe a little more, like 16, 17. And so technically being part of a huge party actually does increase the points that you get, I think. So like, I remember when I was part of a party of like 20, if I killed one of those construct bosses, I'd get like 300 faction points from it, because the rewards are scaled up based on the number of party members the game thinks it needs to accommodate. So if you're part of a huge group, and then you go off onto the side and you do a little bit of mining or whatever, or like you do a little bit of PvE content, like with just the regular creep mobs, you're gonna get a lot of faction points for that. Like, I can show you that in a second when everybody goes somewhere else. Oh, it looks like there's some faction defense required down there. We wanted to be part of that. Looks like we're going north to Pengarn. So I will follow them, but I want to show you guys something real quick before I do. Which is that when you're in close proximity, you will share XP with the other people in your party. But if you're not, so this guy should generally give me about 25. Yeah, he gave me 25. So I would need to fight a boss for it to scale up noticeably. Yeah, I'm really curious about the bonuses of hideouts and like how much that really impacts things, because if hideouts really do change the game, it's gonna, first of all, it's gonna make Black Zone endeavors a lot more safe. Like, so I went out and I did a little Black Zone gathering the other day to gather some higher tier stuff. And what I noticed was that out in the legendary Black Zone mists, there was nobody there. Everybody was just gathering, and nobody has the equipment or the willingness to risk that equipment, if they do have it, to farm tier 8 ore. Or trees, actually, in the mists. So, like, what I would recommend is super off hours, finding high tier Black Zone mists and just gathering there. Like, obviously, you know, be careful. Bring a resilient mount. Bring, like, you know, wear your gathering gear, inspect them all for escape, and like bring a good escape weapon. Yeah, but like, you can go out there and you can farm tier 8 ore or whatever, and no one's gonna really stop you. The key is getting to those places in the first place is difficult. Like, it's you gotta be sneaky. Yeah, if you see anybody, you just run away immediately. You don't question it. If a name pops up, you just get on your mount and you leave. You do not risk it. That's all you gotta do. Yeah, see, that popped up for the region, like last region, was about 400 faction points. Which is, like, not a ton, to be sure, but if each of these things gives me, on average, around, like, say, 60 to 90, sometimes they give, like, 150, for each of these captures, and then the entire region itself is another, like, 300 or 400. I mean, do a few regions and you're pretty much good to go. Oh, wow. I am lagging. Hello, game? Is everything alright? Okay. That was fucking wild. Jesus Christ, did you guys see that? Like, I don't think that was just me. Yeah, 123. So on average, we'll say we get about 100 per zone, and each of the zones has anywhere from like 3 to 5 points to capture. So say you're getting like 400 for the captures, and then you're getting another 400 for the entire zone. You're getting like a little under 1,000, you know, per zone capture. That ain't half bad, man. Like, for this zone, I'll probably get about 1,000 even, because if it's 5 zones, then I'm getting 120 each. That's pretty good. What you will want to take note of is that there is a there's a little meter at the top of the zone. There's these stars. those kind of represent like the amount of faction warfare value that the zone has at any given time, from what I understand. So when that fills up, it becomes very lucrative to capture the zone. And while it's empty, it's just an indicator that it's just been captured, and therefore like recapturing a zone that's just been captured isn't really like worth a damn. In theory, I guess. That's my understanding of it anyway. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, so we'll get about 1,000 from this zone, and what we'll want to do is we'll just kind of want to try to make it up to this 5,000 mark, because once we get to 5,000, or no, it's, yeah, it is 5,000 fame total. So you get to 5,000, or faction points rather. You get to 5,000 faction points, and it gives you 8,000 over the course of that. So it more than doubles the reward. So when you look at, oh, I'm only getting, you know, X amount from this activity or whatever, remember that you're getting more than double what you appear to be getting, as long as you reach those benchmarks. And if you're wondering what the monetary value of faction points is, every 50,000 or so is worth about 1 million silver in Cape Seals. That's been my basic conversion. So like, it's not necessarily like the best use of your time if silver is your goal, right? Because like, it takes like an hour maybe to do if you're really grinding it, you can probably get 50,000 faction points in like, you know, an hour or two. If you're going out into the red zone or something, like, you can make that happen. That's 1 million silver in a couple of hours maybe, with risk involved. Like, no, it's not worth it to do it for silver income. But if you're getting faction points from doing what you're already doing, it's absolutely worth it, you know, because it's just additional income, and the only cost of it is to flag up, right? Now there is a higher level of income that you can reach if you are able to max out your faction status. So like, I am very interested in reaching the paladin rank, because at that point I can get elite polar bears. Or elite polar bear cubs, which then Hopeful can raise. And the fun thing about the polar bears is that they are the best transport mount below mammoths for safe zone transports, because they have the highest capacity. They're like excellent tier polar bears, have a higher transport capacity than tier 8 ox do. And they also have a huge speed boost on them that they can use every so often, which is not bad, you know. They're fast. So polar bear is good for transport, but they're also worth 4 million silver apiece, where the oxen are only worth about 2 or so. So like, can you AFK while mining or rock or something? So, like, yes, you can obviously AFK doing anything. I would not recommend it, because, you know, if you go AFK, you're liable to get, you know, killed or something if you're flagged, but, or you'll auto log off. But, like, I know what you're asking, and what you're asking is, can you autopilot? And the answer is absolutely not, you can't. You have to be actively engaged in whatever you're doing. But you can be sort of passively engaged, right? That is absolutely possible. So, like, if you have 2 monitors, for example, which many of you may not, but, and I mean, I don't even, you can watch YouTube videos on one monitor, and you can, you know, do your faction warfare, or you can do your mining and gathering and stuff on the other, or you can, you know, watch TV and just sort of, like, click from one ore node to the other on your phone or something like that. Now, when it comes to really passive tasks, high tier ore gathering is very active. You want to be very engaged in that because you want to be moving around looking for them and stuff. But if you're doing like tier 2 or tier 3, you can just find a dense cluster of nodes and they'll regenerate. You can just like do a looped action. Basically, you can just like hit this one and then hit this one and then hit this one and then hit this one. And if you find like 8 or 9 nodes, you can be pretty sure that the first one that you hit will be basically recharged by the time you get to the last one. So you can just do something really repetitive. Now, I know a lot of you who are a little bit more industrious will hear that and think, ooh, auto clicker? Well, yes, you could do that. You will get banned if you do that, but you could do that. I remember when I played RuneScape, that was absolutely something I did. I came up with a very, very clever auto clicker that had randomizations and a lot of things that made it seem more human so that I could farm woodcutting without losing my frickin' mind. But unfortunately, games don't want you to do that. They want you to lose your mind, and they want you to actually be playing the game because, and I'll tell you why they want you to do that, right? They want you to lose your mind with gathering because they want you to cave and pay to progress. They want you to be like, oh god, okay, I need extra silver so that I can buy, the gathering tomes or whatever. And like, that's fine. They have to stay in business and that's how they have to do it. But when you are determining whether or not you are going to do a certain action, do the ones that you can do and stay sane. If an action would require you to bot or auto click and set up some sort of a macro in order to perform it without losing your shit, don't do that one. If gathering is going to make you lose your mind, don't gather. If transporting is going to make you lose your mind in the monotony, don't transport. If PvP is super frustrating because you can't stand to lose gear and lose fights, don't do it. So Shadowboy and Modern are a couple of our guild members, and they're some of our better players, more experienced players. They, Modern will gather, but Shadowboy, for example, he cannot stand gathering. He said it's the most boring, mind-numbing activity in the game for him. He doesn't want to gather, and he doesn't want to transport. He wants to PvP. He can make a lot of money PvPing. And it's possible to do. And so that's what he does. And that's fine, because there are ways to contribute to the guild through PvP content in the Black Zones, which is what he likes to do anyway, that they're very helpful. They're very helpful to the guild. And there are players like me who would rather sit back spiffing Brit style and try and break the game and find ways to ruin the economy or whatever. And that works for me. I would rather do that stuff. I would rather do the transports and the stuff that makes me feel smart rather than run around doing PvP, doing the stuff that makes other people feel bad, and that makes me feel bad, right? Because when I lose in PvP, I lose a bunch of progress, and that doesn't feel good, and so I don't want to do that, right? I'd rather do faction warfare. I'd rather do gathering. I'd rather do, arena or transportation and market manipulation and stuff like that, and refining, or cooking and all of that stuff. That works really well for me. But if you can't stand to do that stuff personally because it's too mind-numbing, it's not engaging enough, bruh, do something else, if you don't enjoy a particular facet of whatever content you're doing, there are very good reasons to do other stuff. So for example, yes, it's true that focus refining and having focus alts and cooking and transportation are by far the most profitable guaranteed sources of income in this game. But if you don't like doing that, that's okay, because if every single person in the guild was doing that, we would actually suffer on certain levels. Transportation will make a lot of silver, but what it won't do is it won't open our access to certain things that make that more profitable than it is otherwise. So, for example, let me show you something here on the Conqueror's Challenge. This here requires might to fill up. You can get this chest for that. If you are very, very lucky and you fill that chest up and you have premium and you can open it, you might get a transport mammoth baby, like a baby mammoth. That's a huge deal. That's worth hundreds of millions of silver, right? Now, what you're going to want to do if you get one of those is you're going to want to go to Hopeful and be like, bro, can you raise this? Like, and the answer is going to be no, not yet, but soon. And so he can turn that into an adult transport mammoth, and, you know, he'll probably want you to, like, you know, chuck him $1 million or something for his trouble, but basically, yeah, that is going to enable you to do a lot of shit, or to basically, like, give it to somebody else to make use of. You know, you can charge them interest or whatever, but, like, yeah, you can make a ton of silver from doing Black Zone content if that's what interests you. Or if you want to do faction warfare, do that. You know, you can scale up your faction warfare game to the point where you can start supplying Hopeful with elite bear cubs, and he can start, like, turning those into silver. You can, you know, if you want to do gathering because you like gathering, scale up your gathering skill. You know, gather resources and then pass them, you know, sell them off cheap to somebody else who likes to do transportation. You know?
Yo, I will make all the mounts for you.
Yeah,
We'll make all the mounts.
there are a
Bring
lot
me
of
the mount.
really good opportunities, and the thing is, if you want to do crafting, if you want to craft weapons, because that's fun for you, like, I want to do some weapon crafting. Currently, it's not particularly profitable, but it is when the crafting days come up. And right now, I don't have that skill built up because it takes a while to reach that sort of end game status where crafting can be profitable, but I plan to get there someday, you know? But yeah, you can absolutely work toward that, you know, through whatever means is interesting. Gathering, it can be a Black Zone activity if you like danger, and it can absolutely be a Blue Zone activity if you don't. You know, if you want to farm, you know, basics like cotton, which can often be very expensive, and therefore very much worth it, or you want to, you know, harvest stone, which will probably become worth it fairly soon. Or you want to engage, you know, soon with the new tracking skill that they're going to put out in, I don't know, like, is that weeks, months? Like, what are we looking at? I don't really know the details on that. But there's a whole bunch of great stuff that you can do. And also, you'll notice that that little 5K just popped up over my head to say that between the 3 or 3.5 zones that I've captured, I've managed to hit 8,000 faction points. And that basically just means, you know, I don't really need to do any more if I don't want to. Like, I've maxed out my points for the day. Now I can come back at, you know, 7:30 in the afternoon tomorrow and start all over again. Or I can just not, you know? I can wait until the next day because the daily reset is actually in the afternoon for me. But, like, I can keep going. I'm not going to get any more daily bonuses for farming faction points, but I can keep going if I want to. You know, I've got like 120,000 faction points right now. So that's probably worth about 2.5 million silver, roughly. If I just sell crests from that. Do I care? Maybe, maybe not. I'm thinking I want to just save up faction points for Mountain Hearts and Polar Bears eventually. But for now, yeah, I'll finish this zone, you know, and then maybe I'll check Thetford to see if my buy order filled. Because in a perfect world, I'd like to think that that buy order is full enough that I can do one trip of Cedar Planks to Limhurst, so that I can show you guys what the basic, like, routine, what the model is.
Speaking of transporting, I've got probably about 10 million worth of items just sitting in Brazilian. And probably several million in all of the other cities too. So someday, if we ever find an opening where transporting looks like it'll work without a ton of risk, we could maybe transport some of these items and get some more silver for the guild.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna be done, and I'm going to leave this party, teleport back to Fort Sterling, and that's good. I've gotten myself like a little over 8k faction points for the day. I should have about 120,000 faction points total. And something that you should watch as you do faction warfare is as you go to this person or whoever the equivalent is in your city of choice, which I would recommend Fort Sterling for starting out, but it's not wholly necessary. So like, see these things like that show you whether or not you're the appropriate rank to get certain rewards. So like, I'm not quite itinerant yet, so I can't get the tier 8 Fort Sterling crest. But I am, up to Knight Defender so that I can get the little baby bears here. I want these bears. These bears are the ones that I want. But I need to get this rank. So let me show you Faction Warfare. You go down to this tab. This is going to show you the various ranks. So when you start, you're a mercenary, 4,000 points, which will take you like a day. Actually, you can get to scout in a day, right? That's like, I mean, realistically, if you're really dedicated, you can get to Legionnaire in a day. But like, you get faction points, and as you know, when you're first rank, you don't have a rank bonus, so you get fewer points. But as you increase in rank, you'll notice that like this little like piece of paper slip for these first three, you're gonna have 0% bonus. You get to guard, footman, and skirmisher, you're gonna have a 5% bonus. You get to legionnaire, man-at-arms, and knight errant, you're gonna have a 10% bonus. Knight defender, knight champion, and knight commander, you get a 15% bonus. You get to itinerant, zealot, and crusader, you're gonna have a 20% bonus. And then sentinel, or rather, oh, it's all the way through sentinel, you're gonna have a 20% bonus. And then from paladin upward, all the way to like, Lord Protector, you're going to have a 25% bonus. And then Archon of the Mountain, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, these ranks do matter, because really what you want to do is you want to aim to get to at least this one, this Paladin one at 1.4 million. Because if you reach that, that enables you to get all of the top tier rewards, which allows you to get, whatever your city's mount is. Now, I would encourage for those of you who are very brave, or like already somewhat familiar with the game, base yourself in another city. Put your personal island in another city. Grind up faction warfare for another city, because the elite winter bear is not the only worthwhile mount. Thetford has the elite salamander, which is pretty special in that it does not have a gallop. It just constantly has 106% movement speed. Pretty good. The elite boar from Limhurst, I think, is the other one that people really like, and the elite ram from Martlock is very well regarded. The Moa bird from Bridgewatch is kind of trash, unfortunately. But yeah, you want to take a look at those other places. I think the ram and the boar are very good. The bear is great for transport, but the boar is amazing for gathering, because it's pretty fast, it's pretty durable, and it also enables you to get dismounted and still move if you are carrying a lot of stuff. So yeah, I would look into some of those other places. Starting out, I would recommend maybe not going for Bridgewatch or Martlock, because they're so far away from Fort Sterling, where the majority of the guild is based. So it's harder for people to like help you and work with you on transports and stuff. But eventually, when we're established in those cities, we'll want to branch out to Bridgewatch and Martlock as well. So if you're very adventurous, do it up. See what you can get. Um, it's all pretty good stuff. Well, I'm gonna take a look here and see what I can find. Oh wait, no, this is the wrong one. Rip. I already know that that's solid. Let me go get rid of all my gear. Ugh. Oh, also, I'm just like sitting around hanging onto an expert pickaxe that I otherwise don't really need. If anyone wants an expert pickaxe, and like can use it, so if somebody grinds up their gathering, let me know. You could have it. I don't use it because I have the tier 6 version. But you'll want one of these once you reach this point because it's gonna make your gathering a lot faster. Um, oh.
So have you just been going over how to make money and break the bank? That's been the stream.
Yeah, that's been much of the stream. I mean, how to join the guild, how to manage an island, how we want the islands to be managed. I
Right.
was thinking about potentially throwing together a stream for League of Legends new 2v2v2v2 arena, which is extremely fun. And one of my friends and I figured out how best to approach that game mode and managed to grind our way up to maximum rank in that very quickly over the course of maybe 2 days. So yeah, Grandmaster in the for fun game mode, guys.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, that didn't take long. Um, but do you have events like International Clan War with prize pool? So funny you should mention that. There aren't really things like that in Albion for like guild versus guild unless we get a hideout. So actually, what you'll want to do when you're in game is take a look at this season overview. Okay, if you click on the little guild shield, if you're on a PC or if you find this menu somewhere wherever it is on mobile, and you click on season overview, you're gonna see this. Okay, and what this will show you is Iron rank, also known as where we are. And then it will show you bronze rank, which is where we want to go. Now, with each rank progression, it will give you an increasing bonus to your might and your Black Zone activity token, whatever the heck they're called. I don't know. Think of it as Black Zone faction warfare points. But might you get from everything that you do in the Black Zone, right? You open a chest in the Black Zone. I think you might get might from doing that. Even you kill another player in the Black Zone, you get might. You kill a PvE mob in the Black Zone, you get might. You mine resources in the Black Zone, you get might. You get might from lots of shit, right? You get it just like you get faction points. Now, here's the thing. This here, these season points, we get these from certain activities: conquering territories, the Crystal League, Guild Challenge, holding territories, Hellgates, castle outputs, corrupted dungeons, crystal spiders, gathering in the Outlands and Roads, blah, 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 all of these things. Many of these things are things we cannot actually do until we are at least bronze rank. So if I go down here, you'll see the Guild Challenge. This level gives us season points based entirely on how many keys we get. Now, what are keys, you may ask? So over here in the Adventurers Challenge, you can see you're getting keys to fill these up anyway. If you're getting premium, you're getting a ton of rewards from this. You get keys from everything that you do in this game, right? If I mine a resource, if I mine some copper, I get like 3 keys. And if I mine the whole vein, I get 9, right? During the course of a month, you will, if you're playing consistently, easily, you will get 600,000 keys. Okay? So over the course of the season here, which is like 90 days long. Right now there's 43 days left in the current season. We're at 13.6 million keys, I think. Or is this no? Now this is like 1.3 billion keys? No, I've got this all wrong. Yeah, this is like 13 million keys. Okay. The way that having this 13,000K is really dumb. All right, yeah. So this is like 13 million keys. Okay. Now, Modern is crushing us all with like 5.3 million keys gathered all by his lonesome. And then there's a couple of us at the top here who are like in the 1 point something or close to million keys, right? I would say your goal as a player, if you're active, is to get at minimum 600,000 keys a month so that you can get that adventurers challenge. But also because if we have a whole bunch of people, if we have 10 people who all get 600,000 keys, this is going to put us up several levels here, which is going to bump us up a little further towards bronze. The other thing is under guild might, because, you can look at the Crystal League and all of these things, but like the Crystal League is terrifying. This is full loot arena. Horrifying. I don't want to partake. But these things here will give you a pretty good idea of what you can do to contribute to the guild season rank, which enables us to do some stuff, that really helps. And this is what I was kind of getting at when I was saying, if you don't like transporting, you're not interested in gathering, don't. Just don't. Because you can do PvE or PvP in the black zone. If that's what you can do PvE in the yellow zone or the blue zone, and you can get keys that contribute to this right here. And if you want to do stuff in the black zone, everything that you do in the black zone contributes to these things. PvE in the outlands and roads, which is the black zone. Yeah, that's getting you might. Gathering out there, also getting you might. Gathering out there is a little bit dicey and sketchy. It's a little skill required. Like buyer beware. Shit is tough. But like if you want to do that because you want a little bit more, heart pounding pickaxe swinging activity in your life, go for it, because there's a lot to be gained in terms of this. Like right now we're on level 1. Level 1, 15k might is not a lot. One person in a day could easily, if you're spending like 3 hours in the outlands doing some gathering, you're easily going to get 1,000. If 10 people do that, this goes up like once every day. This goes up a level, right? That's significant. Siphoning mages, I have no idea. Don't ask. I think that requires us to be to actually have a hideout, which requires us to go up a rank first. This same deal. Outland treasures, what you can do is you can dress up, like with rat gear, which is another word for highly mobile gear with a lot of invisibilities and a lot of dashes. And you can run around the black zone and just look for chests that other people haven't seen in the dead of night. This is a lot easier for me to do because I live in the States, and in the middle of the afternoon, it's the dead of night for you guys. So there are very few people online. It's easy for me to but if you're in North America or if you're in Europe or something, it's not too difficult to get online where it's effectively 4 a.m. for the vast majority of the people on this server, and just run around and look for uncontested chests in the black zone. You open a few of those, you get a bunch of might. You get a bunch of points for the guild from doing that. Killing crystal spiders, that's hard. You need a party of people to do that. We have, as a guild, killed exactly 0 crystal spiders this season. That is over the course of the last 45 days. I've found several, but yeah, requires coordination and help. Corrupted dungeons? I don't even know. Scary. No, thank you. But like, clearly someone's done a couple. Castles and outposts, yeah, that requires us to do some stuff that we can't yet do. So basically, the options are PvE in the Outlands, gathering in the Outlands, getting treasure in the Outlands. That's about it. And getting crystal spiders, which is hard. But yeah, like if it's the middle of the afternoon for me, or if it's the middle of the night for you guys, if you're comfortable being up at 4 in the morning or whatever, anywhere from 2 to 5 in the morning your time, which, like, obviously I'm an advocate of taking care of yourself and getting enough sleep, but those times are really quiet. You can head into the roads of Avalon and you can run around and kill like the humanoid boss creatures and get a lot of might from that. You can run around in the black zones and just try and open chests that you find. Big money. Big money for one thing. Lots of silver from doing that. And you just kill the odd mob in between when you're not finding something. A lot of silver, a lot of might. Might is also worth it in terms of silver just because of the Conqueror's Challenge. You get 20k might, you get to open this chest. This has a lot of stuff in it that you want. Unfortunately, I only have 18 hours to reach 20k might, which I absolutely can't do. Feels bad. If I were to go into the Outlands right now, I would get absolutely destroyed because right now it's the middle of the day for the vast majority of the server. So like, there's enough people online that I would just get pounced on, and my life. How shall I put this? My disappointment would be immeasurable, and my day would be ruined. Oh, wait, I was going to go to Thetford and check on that sell order to see if I can... Yeah, I got half an hour. I have enough time to do that transport and refine. So, let's take a look. We... Also, I just
This
want
whole
to point
time,
out... Huh?
I've just been pulling all of my orders that have been filled in all the different cities.
Oh, yeah?
Sometimes there's thousands of items, so you see how long it takes. That's all I've been doing is just pulling items one at a time because there's no way to grab everything all at once, as you know.
Right.
It's a slow process.
Yeah, going through the mail, though, is, like, almost one of the most satisfying things in the game for me. Like, looking at all of this filled sell orders just makes me feel very good.
Yeah, it's like money in your bank.
Yeah, for real. Like, what feels great is, like, you see the little mail thing pop up, you go through all of those, and then you open your inventory and you see you have, like, 3 million more silver than you had, like, 2 seconds ago. That feels real nice.
Even I made so when I left, I had what about like 1 or 1.5 million. So I haven't logged in the game in like 2 weeks. I came back to 4.8 million. So, and that's just from the transporting and the sell orders and stuff that I had out from weeks ago.
Yep.
So yeah, once you guys
Feels
get
pretty good.
this, you treat it like a business, really, because it really is like a business. And once you get it going and you've got multiple things happening at one time, that, like you said, you're going to be opening up the mail, and silver's just going to be coming in from all different, sources.
Right. Like, when I was trying to get premium, I was trying everything, right? I was doing all kinds of stuff to get silver built up. And it felt like nothing was working, but what I didn't realize is that it was working, it was just working slowly. So, like, after I got premium, over the course of the next week or so, a lot of sell orders came in, and I didn't do much, but I have enough nearly to buy premium again. And it's been less than a third of my total premium time so far. So, whoops.
Yo, guys, I'm
Yep.
gonna check out like a little bit early this time. Okay.
Yeah,
Catch
no
you
problem,
for
man.
tomorrow.
Enjoy the camping trip and all of everything else that goes with it.
10-4. Will
All right.
do. Take care, and we'll talk.
Peace, man.
Later, stream.
What a
Peace, peace.
what a trooper out there camping with his family, I assume, and still takes time to pop in on the stream. So
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
yeah, just that. Yeah, you're awesome, man. Thanks for coming by and enjoy the wilderness.
Oh, we're gonna be doing streams with Hopeful. We're gonna be doing bushcrafting with Hopeful, touching grass with Hopeful, all that
Oh,
fun stuff.
I think
We
Oh, I
got a
need
lot.
some grass touching in my life
I
too,
think that's a
man.
great idea, actually. Really,
Gamers need to touch grass, and
they do.
they just need the
Yeah,
knowledge of how they should do it the best way
yeah,
and how to enjoy it to the fullest. And
I
then
agree.
bang, bing, bang, boom, you're doing it
Yep, I
while
agree.
talking about games and beer. Beers, there's always beer usually.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That's
good.
tomorrow for tomorrow's stream, so I spent a good amount of my evening tonight, watching the congressional hearing, on, the testimony, of what is it,
Hunter Biden.
UPAs, I
UPAs.
yes, unidentified,
Oh
um,
yes,
or
I was watching
UAPs,
that.
right? It's
Yes,
UAPs,
UAPs. I was watching a little bit of that as
unidentified
well.
anomalous phenomenon.
Yes.
And basically UFOs. It's a more accepting term for UFOs.
The PC way of saying
And
it.
basically the way that the military has had record of UFO activity, and like
For a long
documentation
time.
for all of this for a long time, and
Yeah.
it's been held
Right.
under wraps. And
Yo,
so
did I
it's
not
the
tell you guys
testimony
about
about that.
this? Like, did I not tell you guys about this? That like there was like this 10-day period of time where like NASA shut off the specific satellite and station that was studying the sun. They just shut off the fucking live feed to the world, which they're not supposed to do, for 10 whole fucking days. You know why? Because something, an object, which must have been the size of a small planet, mind you, or a moon at the bare minimum, went up to the sun and was siphoning energy from it. Subsequently, pulled the fuck away from the sun.
So
Which,
basically,
whose gravity is just astronomical by our standards.
Wow. Wow.
so essentially it is all to
It put a
say
hole in the sun.
there's
It put a small hole in the sun.
been some fascinating stuff, that people are claiming that if it were
Yes.
true would be very important. And so
Right.
one of the things that, is so interesting about this to me is that one of my greatest gripes in life and one of my major points of depression throughout my life is that it feels like there isn't, oddly enough, and this is entirely to do with, my own perception of like the world that I live in, and being steeped in technology as I am and have been throughout the course of my life, because like, if I came from my parents' generation, I wouldn't feel this way, but that there isn't anything interesting going on, essentially.
There is though.
But the advent
So
of
much.
artificial intelligence technologies and the potential mystery that may or may not come with the legitimacy of claims about aliens, certainly would change things. I'm fascinated. So, yeah.
What you just described right there, Kunyak, is what has been driving me for the last 20 years.
Yep.
Because I know that it's there, right? This
There's
is why we created,
something. There's gotta
is-
be something interesting.
this is why we created NFT to Earn, right? Because
Right.
we can, once we get there,
Well, you
believe
guys,
me,
guys are kidding, right? Like, I mean, to be quite frank with you, like, come on, you think we're the only fucking
Oh, absolutely not. I
knuckle-dragging
never was naive enough to
assholes
believe that
in
we're
the
the
universe,
only
like-
the only life in the universe. However,
no.
I'm not necessarily, I don't necessarily think that it was ever a foregone conclusion, or even is at this point with what is going on, a foregone conclusion that there is, intelligent life that's close enough or capable enough or interested enough in, human civilization to like, make contact or something like that. What I've heard so far from the testimonies actually makes me, like, gives me the notion that if you guys have ever played Warframe, or like are familiar with Warframe, you would know what I'm talking about here. But if you haven't, I would recommend that you take a little foray into it, in terms of like, if you're really interested in sort of like, a science fiction take on what might be somewhat similar to what we were looking at. But the cephalons from Warframe are very similar in how they are presented to what I think is possibly what's something like what is being described by these testimonies. They're not alive. They're not living per se, but they are sort of anomalous intelligences that just like gather information. They just observe. They're chronic
So
observers,
they're
right?
essentially AI then.
In a way, but I mean, the same could be argued. I mean, it doesn't really need to be argued that human intelligence is essentially artificial intelligence. It's just
Yeah.
biological, right?
Right. Right.
But of course, things get a little bit different when, the guy testifies that there's biological evidence and it's, under lock and key and highly classified, but there's biological evidence involved here. So then, well, okay, that kind of goes out the window. We're not talking about like unliving interdimensional phenomenon. We're talking about like, you know, uh things with oh damn
Conscious,
it, I want to
sentient
fight this guy.
beings.
Things with intent, right?
Yeah. They're sentient then.
Right. And I mean, of course, we're talking about a bunch of military guys, so they're all talking about like, could these aliens be after the nuclear codes and our nuclear technology? And they're like, absolutely, it could be a national security threat. And I'm like, bro, you don't fucking know. Like, let's be real, y'all don't fucking know.
Wow, I can't even believe that they would say that. You think about the technology that they have to get here.
They don't fucking care. They don't
care
care
at
about
all.
our technology.
Yeah.
It's
They're
like
interested
freaking
if they
antique technology to them.
right if alien life or like as he phrased it, if non-human intelligent life is interested in our technology, they're interested on a purely like observationary scale.
Like, wow, this is cool. Look at this.
It's a
antique.
curiosity.
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
or
Look what
or
these monkeys have done.
right.
Exactly.
That's
Look
it.
what these
It's-
monkeys have done.
Look what these
or
monkeys
like
have done.
rather another way to look at it is if you're dealing with interdimensional interaction, right, which is another theory that people are kind of throwing around. If you're dealing with interdimensional interaction, you're almost exclusively dealing with observation because
Right.
what and like there's absolutely nothing that we could do if that were the case, because we can interact with two-dimensional things, right? We can interact with two-dimensional characters. We can look at a stick figure drawn on a piece of paper, essentially, right? But the piece of paper, the stick figure on the piece of paper cannot look at us outside of that plane. But if we line our face up with the plane of that paper, theoretically, they would be able to see us phase through in a line to their plane of existence. But we could not become two-dimensional, right? We could not actually participate in their two-dimensional world beyond maybe just destroying that two-dimensional world. We could do that. We could erase something. We could interact with their world, but they could not interact with ours. So if something 4 or 5-dimensional is able to, pass through the plane of our observable 3-dimensional universe and interact with 3 dimensions, that's cool, but it's entirely on their terms. We can't interact with anything that they do outside of what they're providing our experience. So essentially to say, if all of this were the case and all of this are true and all of this were like exactly as it's said to be, the odds that we actually have the ability to interact and
Well,
the
number
odds
one,
that we have
do we have hold on, do we actually even know that two-dimensional or one-dimensional beings even exist? No, right?
we have no
there's-
reason to really believe it, but then again, in a similar vein, something that's 5-dimensional has no reason to believe that 3-dimensional beings exist, right?
Precisely my
Beyond
point.
a
Point.
character on a piece of paper, right?
Right. But I would imagine that we're not so much pieces of paper. We're not so simple.
Yeah, because
a dimensional
clearly
being,
there's some interest. If this is true, then whatever whatever may be out there is clearly interested enough to observe.
I listened to Elon Musk. He's been watching space quite a bit, and he's like, if there's anybody on the planet that has seen alien life coming here, it would have probably been me, is what he's saying. But I think maybe he's overstating how much he's been looking at, because even though recently he's been looking at space, like you said, the government or governments has been looking at space
They've been
probably
looking at
much
space, but they've
longer.
also been looking at the entire surface of the Earth through their military instruments for, for a long time. I won't say forever, but for a long time they've been looking at that shit.
I guess that could explain why Elon hasn't seen anything yet.
Right. And, like he has a lot of instruments, but he doesn't have all the instruments. And looking at
No.
every single speck of space,
Right.
that's, you can only do so much,
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me show you guys. This is the process, right? I currently have 4K cedar logs in my inventory, which is, more than I can work with 1,000 pine planks. But basically, I spent 2.3 million to gather all of these materials. Now, I've only got a portion of what I've bought. But what we're going to do is we're going to head to the Guild Island. Oh, no. Oh, no, I just went to my island in Thetford and I spent 1.4 million to get there. I just fucked up.
There's
Well-
no way you just did that.
Oh my god, I hate the fucking, I hate the island woman. Ah!
There's no way you just did that, dude.
I want
Oh,
so badly to contact support and say, I made a mistake, give it back. And that will never happen.
Oh, I see what you did. Oh, that's
Oh,
terrible.
no.
This is so unfortunate. I'm so mad. I'm so
Oh my
fucking
God,
mad.
no.
Sucks. That's like literally just
1.5
taking
million
Fortnite's
silver
and
down the
just
drain for absolutely
burning it.
nothing.
Oh no.
I'm so
But
mad.
anyways, guys that were listening to the stream, if what we were just talking about doesn't motivate you, ask some more questions and then figure out to where it does actually motivate you, because it should. Because this is what life's about, really. It to me, it's knowledge. It boils down to.
Well, off we go
And
to
that's what
try
we're
and
here for.
recoup all of our losses that
Wow,
we
that
just
sucks, man.
incurred. Feels really bad. This is the slow walk of shame to Fort Sterling,
It's
where
because
we
we were so involved in
just
some
were.
really good
Yeah, I was
discussion
I
and
was
just weren't paying
distracted and
attention.
I didn't
Yeah.
click the right thing.
Yeah.
It's my own fault. That's a very expensive mistake. I've made 2 of those in the last couple of days.
And about this rain, I heard that there's actually a major storm system that's going through the Philippines right now. Hopefully everyone's staying safe there, and because I've heard the winds are pretty high on this one. So, and probably the water is probably even more damaging than the winds, I'd imagine.
I had no idea about that, but I wish everyone well out there. And on that note, I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Yeah, cheers, man. I'm sorry you
Cheers,
had to see
everybody.
that.
No, all good. That's horrible, dude. I wish
Ugh.
you well in the very near future.
Yeah, no sweat.
Peace.
Cheers, man. Yep, so we're going to wrap up the stream pretty soon. Hopefully I'm going to make it back to Fort Sterling. I can do the crafting on the Guild Island and not do that again. That's a mistake you only make once. Hopefully.
Okay, but yeah, at least the stream sees it, and so hopefully they can watch out to make sure they're careful and don't
Yeah,
do the
so
same
basically,
thing.
if you're carrying a lot of stuff and or you have high tier weaponry equipped and you click and you misclick to go to an island that isn't associated with the city that you're currently in, you can pay a lot of money very quickly to get somewhere that you don't even want to be. So pay close attention when you are going to an island. Unfortunately, the island merchant will just take you to your personal island if you don't pay attention. And I go to her to go to whatever island I want to go to most of the time. Not necessarily the ideal way to go about it. It's probably better to go to the travel planner, because then you have to very intentionally select where you want to go. I will not be making that mistake a second time, because that just cost me 1.5 million silver, which is about how much silver I was looking to profit with this entire buy order plus sale. So I spent 2.3 million silver hoping to profit about 1.5 million silver, and I just lost that by being stupid. So be careful, because now what I'm looking to do is break even at about 14 million silver. This is we're gonna call it the cost of content. It's not the biggest deal in the world because I'm not super concerned about having a ton of silver available to me. My main concern is being able to maintain premium comfortably enough that I can continue to play the game so that I can continue to stream. I figure that, you know, the time that it takes, like the time investment it takes to be able to like be an effective player and like be able to access interesting content, um and like do it well enough that it, you know, is compelling to people, kind of requires you to have premium, unless you're like managing hundreds of alts or something like that. So I would generally say that like a loss of 1.5 million silver is pretty serious for most players if they're like looking to profit and stuff. But to be sure, like I could get killed in the black zone and lose my equipment that's worth about that much. Um, you know, it happens. So we'll just chalk it up to experience and lessons learned. Pay attention when you're at the island merchant or you're at the travel planner to how much it's going to cost you to go somewhere. Alrighty. And unfortunately, we had gotten stuff from the market, so we're going to get there pretty slowly because we're encumbered. I wish that there was an undo button. Pretty bad right now. Or like a you know, a lot of the buttons will have a like, are you sure you want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Most actions actually do have an are you sure you want to do this, particularly if they're associated with like going to another zone or with spending silver. For whatever reason, the island merchant is one of the only exceptions. Yeah. But like luckily I'm in a position where like that doesn't hurt too badly to lose it. You know, if I only had 2 million silver and I lost 1.5 million, like that would feel really, really bad. Because silver is what allows you to make more of itself. You know, you need money to make money in this game. So like, but the fact that I still have like another 11 million to go before I'm out, yeah, okay, it's not the worst. I live, you know, I
Somebody said
lost.
we made it to 18 people on the stream at the peak, so that's close. I mean, we 7 more.
Yeah, we got, you know, I mean, and hey,
Looks
y'all
like
can
we can
probably get
do
it
it
together for
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think what's happening with all of you guys, what I notice, is everyone is procrastinating and waiting till the last minute. People need a little time to plan, so what I would do is just start as soon as you guys can, and even if we don't get it this week, start for next week, right? Because we'll do it again next week. You know, just start letting people know today and tomorrow and the next day. Hey, get them to the Discord. That's the easiest thing. Get them to the Discord. Get them using your Give Labs link because there's also $100 available for that. At least that's for just one person, and we're going to be giving away a total of $1,000 right through this campaign of that. But get them on the Discord using, you know, your Give Labs campaign, because that's where the discussion can start, and that's where people can ask questions and know when the stream is, what the link is, and all that. We can start talking about it throughout the week or even throughout the day tomorrow, which would be, yeah, day right now for you guys, right? So yeah, just my point is just don't procrastinate, because that's what seems like everyone has been doing that so far, and I don't think that's the best strategy for
Yeah,
success.
trying to get people to join the stream during the stream is probably a bit of a tough
It's
sell
really
because
hard.
you're asking people to
Yeah.
do something right now. It's probably a little easier to get somebody to agree to something later. Um, you know, in terms of like if they haven't got anything better to do and there's an opportunity for them, somebody can be like, "Oh yeah, I have time on my weekend or whatever," and they'd be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be there." Then what you want to do is during the stream or like when it starts is remind them that they
Right.
had made a commitment to do that, right? So if you can get them to agree to it ahead of time and then remind them, they might be more willing to hang out, right? Um
And I'm happy to talk to anybody. I'll jump on a general voice channel whenever you guys got a couple people that you're like, hey, I'm trying to explain some stuff, and if you're having a difficult time explaining what's going on and how we can earn income here, you know, as individuals or as a team, I'd be happy to jump on and do that anytime. Just let me know.
Yep.
Help you
And
guys
here
out.
we go. We're pretty close now to Fort Sterling. Oh boy. What a long walk of shame. Yikes. I'm sorry you guys had to watch me do this once and then again slower.
Well, you know, I made a similar mistake, and similar as in just not paying attention to what I was doing. I ended up in a red zone and thought I was in a safe zone and going in to do you know, a solo dungeon, and there was someone else in there with me, and you know, long story short, they killed me, and I didn't have, you know, safe gear on, like an inexpensive set of gear on. I had the nice stuff on, my nice mount and everything, and lost probably about 2 million total in that
Yeah,
mistake for
happened to me
just not paying
yesterday
attention.
or the day
Yeah.
before. I think the day before yesterday, I went into the red zone, just sort of not thinking too hard about it to do faction warfare, and I got killed and I
Mm.
lost my spectral boar.
Oh, wow.
As well as a bunch of like 6.1 stuff, uh,
Ouch.
which feels pretty bad. All right, so we're gonna try this one more time. And I'm gonna show you guys what happened. Right, so you understand this mistake and the fact that you can make this quite easily. All right, so here I am in Fort Sterling. Here's the island merchant. You go to this person. Visit island. The traveling cost will be 1.5 million. I could have spent that to expand my island, and instead I chose it to int away my gold. Guild Island, however, free to visit. There is no warning. You just click it and you go. Now, if I go over here to the travel planner, there's going to be an "Are you sure you want to go?" which is annoying, but also very helpful sometimes. So I can click buy journey here, and it's probably going to be like, are you sure you want to spend all that? But this one costs nothing. And that's what I want to do.
Let's go.
All right. Now, we're just going to head over here. Take a look. Okay, we got a few more. We'll throw those in there. Alrighty. Now we're going to go over here to this here sawmill guy. I'm going to see, he's fed enough. This guy here eats carrot soup. If you want to use this guy, I would encourage you to bring some carrot soup on occasion. You can bring like 30 or 50 or whatever. Just chuck him in there just to keep, to make sure that he's still fed. Hopeful's doing his best to keep up with keeping the guy fed, but, now I can use focus or I could not use focus, but I don't have enough focus to make it worth it, so I'm just going to hit craft. And we're going to make about 1,000 planks. There's a resource return rate because this is based in Fort Sterling, so we actually do get a good amount of resource return from this, even without focus. And it's unfortunate that this is pretty slow to do, but, it is what it is. Oh. But you'll notice that at the beginning of this, we had exactly the number of pine planks required to make 1,000 of these. And now we've made 1,000 of them, but we have another 286 pine planks. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a little sleepy. It's nearly 1 in the morning. So now I'm going to craft another 300 or so of these, and then it's going to give me another 50 or 80 or so pine planks, and I'll craft those and keep going until I've crafted out all of these. Yep, 80. And then probably another 20 or so. Yep. And so on. We get all our pine planks. So now we have 1,400 roughly of these crafted. And then what we will want to do is take them to Limhurst, which the stream's over, so I'm going to do that on my own time. But what I'll want to do now is take them to Limhurst after I go back to Fort Sterling, because I don't want to travel to Limhurst like an idiot and waste all my money. We'll want to walk out the door here and head to Limhurst and sell them at the market there. Now, something to bear in mind is that it is generally not efficient for me to go there now with these things, because like why would I do that? That's that's a waste of a trip, right? I have a 50% capacity right now. I should wait till I have 3,000 of these. So I should technically be going back to Thetford to get more logs and so on. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these off. And yeah, and I'm just going to do it off stream so that I can, recoup some of that loss and see if I can get into the market sooner, because currently the price of the planks is insane. So I'm going to head off to do that, but it is the end of the stream. So I will see you guys tomorrow, same time. And we'll continue this endeavor. I'll let you know how it went, or if it went at all. And maybe we'll do something else tomorrow. Maybe we'll look at some 2v2 League, or maybe we'll do some touch and grass with Hopeful. Who knows? But yeah, I'll see you guys then. Cheers, everybody.
Take care.